Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the stream. My name is Eric, and I'll be your host today. How's everybody doing? Happy Thursday. I was going to do my video rant and review for the boys, and then I thought, you know what? Why not just do it live? I could do it live. I can have other people join me, and it'll be a lot of fun. So that's what I've decided to do. So tonight we're going to be discussing the boys finale and the entire season 4. I have some thoughts on it. And we'll see if anybody disagrees with me or not, because we do have some guests. I'll bring them up in just a second. We're also going to be talking about the Acolyte finale and the whole season as well. So those are the two major topics tonight. And yeah, we have a few other things to discuss, some news about WB. We have some trailers we might watch depending on how much time we have. But basically, those are the two main topics. And I want to give you guys an opportunity to also sound off and drop your super chats and all that stuff so you can chat with us here. So I'm going to bring up our guest, and we may have other people come in. As always, it is a open bar format where I drop the link into a group chat, and people can come and go as they please. So we'll see who manages to show up. But first and foremost, we have Darth Bunyan, a.k.a. Fallible Fandom here. Good to see you, Darth, or hear you.
Howdy. Hi. Yeah.
Are you ready to talk about the boys? You ready to talk
I'm
about
excited. I'm really excited. I can't wait.
And we also have 3Dub is in the building. Official 3Dub P.
How's it going?
Yeah, so we're here tonight. We might have some other people show up. I never know. It is in a group, so we'll see. We got a bunch of people in the house. Let's give some shout out to some of our team members here. So, of course, we have South Texas Shark in the house. We have Gwendolyn here. Good to see you. And welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. Justin's here. Lone Wolf. Joey's in the building. Who else we have? Fetman Plays, Levi, Mercenary, Maestro. Yeah, good to see everybody here. We'll see if things pick up a little bit as we go on. I'm sure we'll have some more people stop in. So Levi says we'll be doing some sort of overview as well in this stream. So yeah, what I want to do is I'm going to talk about the finales, but that will give us an opportunity to look back at the season and see how, because it's for me and 3Dub and Darth, you can chime in on this. For me, the finale kind of hinges on what questions get answered from the season and what we resolve at the end of the season for the finale. So it's not just an episode for me, it's also the bookend on a story. So that's how I kind of judge my finale episodes, is whether or not they give me the answers that I want, whether they're suitable. You know what I mean? Like that's how I look at it. So it will be sort of an overview because you have to do that to talk about the finale. That's just the way I look at it. I don't know, is that how you guys judge your finales or no?
Well, for me specifically, it has to like be exciting, but also leave something a little to desire, which it kind of did. Butcher.
Okay.
So I mean, but I have to I have one gripe, and I didn't like how they dealt with Hughie this season.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into all of that. That's definitely one of the topics. What about you, Darth? Do you judge a season's finale based on the season, or do you kind of look at it as an individual episode thing?
I look at it more individual, honestly, because I think they can just, if they write it well enough that they keep me engaged, I don't mind that they like answer stuff next season. Honestly, okay. I'm good to go as long as I have fun.
Okay. So here's where we're going to get into the boys. We're going to talk about the finale, which, by the way, they changed the title of it, I guess, at the last minute because of the I don't want to get demonetized, so I'm going to be very careful about how I say this. The attempt on a certain individual's life this past weekend, they changed the title of the episode because of that. And there was a disclaimer in the front of the episode. Did you guys get that when you watched it? We got it over here.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, there was a disclaimer.
It was basically, what a coincidence.
Yeah. Because of the context of the episode, based on what happened in real life events, they wanted to sort of put that out there. But my question is, okay, because we know Eric Kripke isn't someone that kind of coddles people. I wonder if it was his decision to put that at the beginning of the episode, or Amazon made them do that. I wonder which one it was. What do we think?
I think it was a bit of both. I don't think like Eric Kripke, as soon as the news came out, I don't think he would be like, hey, let's not do anything.
Yeah.
Because
I just know that caring.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like he's been very vocal about how he doesn't really give a shit. So for me, I was kind of like, was this his decision, or is Amazon like, we don't want any trouble with anybody, so put that in front of the episode? I don't know, because let's be
a decision, yeah,
but let's be clear here: The Boys has trampled all over sensitive topics this season, so I don't really know why they would all of a sudden put that disclaimer. They might as well put it in front of every episode, to be completely honest. We had an episode with like an assault happening, with somebody tied up, like somebody had their leg chopped off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like this was it was Amazon covering their ass.
I think,
but those weren't specifically angering one specific crowd that is very vocal that we also won't mention.
But that's the crowd that Eric Kripke has pretty much given the middle finger to. So that's why I don't understand why they did it.
I know, but dude, as you've seen, it took like 4 seasons for them to get that middle finger.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I also think like it wasn't like relevant. Like it didn't happen like overnight.
Yeah.
To where this particular thing happened like basically within a week. So
yeah, well, they changed the title and they put the disclaimer, which I thought was quite interesting. But let's talk about the first thing. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about from this finale, and we also want to talk about how it affected the season. And we can talk about each character individually and the situation between them. Because I think one thing about this season is everybody was sort of relegated to their own little pockets. Like if you look back, as I was writing my notes out, certain characters really only have interactions with other characters at a major level, other than when they're sort of doing things together. And one of those groups were Kimiko, Frenchie, and Colin. And this was kind of a separate storyline, not only for these 3 characters, but for Frenchie and Kimiko from pretty much from everybody else. Because if you think about it, yes, some of the stuff that happened did affect the boys. Like they wondered where this person was or why this person was doing this, that, and the other. But this storyline didn't really cross over with any of the other characters, except when Starlight was wondering where Colin went. Other than that, it was kind of its own separate storyline. Agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, I agree. And that's fine because like not every facet of everybody's lives intersects. I mean, some things are just alone, and we never really see Starlight at the office, so we're never going to see Colin there.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So, and we don't go to Frenchie's meetings either. You know what I mean? So it's never a thing that we actively see unless we need to.
Okay. Any thoughts on that 3-Dub about how everything was sort of separated in season?
Well, in a way, Butcher kind of crosses himself over.
Well, Butcher and Homelander are the main characters that sort of intertwine with everybody, but then all the other characters sort of have their own stories.
I mean, like he like basically crossed over and pulled Frenchie out of the jail.
Oh yeah. But again, that happened off camera. That was an off screen thing.
Yeah.
So,
but it's just another example, right? We are never gonna get like Mallory and Frenchie or Kimiko alone. You know what I mean? Like there's just some paths that aren't gonna cross. And
So I have my notes here for this, and let me just read these out as we go through this. So this was kind of a love triangle. Last week, I had said that I did not like the idea of Kimiko and Frenchie together because I went back and watched the scenes with them, and it seems to me like they had reached a resolution in their relationship that it just wasn't going to work out, and I was kind of okay with that, even though I know a lot of people wanted it. So in this situation, it feels a little... And people are going to disagree with me in the chat. You absolutely 100% can. And I want to hear what you think about this as well as you guys. It feels like a forced fan request to put Kimiko and Frenchie together.
Okay. I always thought they were together. Right. They have always been together for me. Like he calls her my love and this and this and this. Just because they're not like physically expressing that doesn't mean that they haven't been a couple. They have, like, for me, they've been a couple the whole way.
You could say they've been scene couples. Like every single scene would be them together. Like it's like.
But that's what I mean. The fact that they're together all the time, is that why you feel that way about it, or was there
no? But like another thing is like
them?
Definitely chemistry, and like he didn't want to initially do that because like as you will know, like she came to them as a kidnapped hostage, right? And like, yeah, she's now on the team, but there's still like a power dynamic that may be at play subconsciously for him that he might not want to feel like there's advantage there. So for her to then like cross the physical barrier and say, I'm okay with this, let's do this. And then he's like, okay, boom.
I'm going to tell you why I feel the way I feel, because I think I have a really good argument in my defense, but I want to hear everybody's thoughts before I give my reasons for it. So 3Dub, what are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like it's forced a bit?
I like it.
Well, what did you think of in general? Look, you don't have to answer that whether or not it's forced. What did you think of their relationship in general this season based on where they ended up?
I think it was the progression of their characters felt like it should have happened sooner rather than later.
Okay.
But I get that she, like she basically said that she obviously lied, that she thought he should go to him. So I think that
because she didn't think she was good enough. That was kind of the vibe that she was giving, right?
Yeah. And then she, as it became bluntly obvious that she became upset with him later on. So it felt like a boost motivation for her to reveal that she wanted to be with him,
right?
Like eventually.
Okay.
But it felt forced on the episode, but if you look at it overall, it doesn't feel forced.
Okay. And so Darth, you're saying that it didn't feel forced at all to you, right?
No, it was adorable. Okay. I loved it.
Okay.
Loved it.
So let me tell you why I have an issue with this, and it has very little to do with whether or not they end up together. I think that's fine. Like if that's what the writers want to do, that's fine. But this season, at the very beginning of the season, one of the big criticisms that the show got when it comes to Frenchie is he went too quickly into a relationship with Colin. There was no build up to it. And then it felt like they were just putting him in a gay relationship for shock value for the show. That was kind of the assessment from a lot of people that were complaining about this season. Looking back at it, I have no defense against that because Colin was literally a plot device for Frenchie. Because he disappeared. We never got to see how the fallout affected him. We never got to see him interacting with any other characters, Starlight or anybody else at the house, the facility they were at, whatever, I forget what that building was called. They were at the shelter. We never got to see him doing that. We never saw the ramifications of this for him. He literally was a one-dimensional plot device for Frenchie's trauma. And they did that with a character that was gay. They took Frenchie, who is a character that's either bi or pansexual. They did it in between seasons, and then he just completely vanished. And that was one of the criticisms people had of the show. And looking back at it, I have no defense against that because honestly, they didn't do enough with Colin. Colin is a character. I don't know shit about Colin except that he was there for Frenchie to go through this trauma.
Yeah, the thing with for me is like the real forced is Colin. He felt forced. Like he shouldn't have been there. Like it should have.
But that's what I'm saying. 3Dub. That's the argument was that initially they were forcing
what I would say is
Colin and Frenchie.
I disagree. I agree with the fact that he was there as a plot device. Okay, I fully agree with that. I disagree with the fact that he's there for shock value, because a lot of the struggle that we see with Frenchie, apart from his abuse, is his tragedy over the partner that they lost in the throuple, who was a man. Like that was like a big part of season 1 for his character development. So I don't think like just adding in a guy, like I don't think that's shock value. Plus, like this show is incredibly diverse, so having one character that's gay is no shock to anybody.
But there is this thing about tokenization that we have to address, and that is a insignificant character that's added in as a demographic, as a bit of diversity. And I feel like Colin almost fits that to a T. Because Colin had no story. Colin was literally there for Frenchie to have a story. That is almost tokenization of the character.
But this is like almost the whole argument of diversity, because then so what if it was just a girl? So what then? What difference would that have made?
They still would have been there as a plot device. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but then it just would have made the difference either way. But the
No,
fact
no,
that it's
I
a
know,
man,
but we have to address the fact that it obviously did confuse a lot of the fans that were not paying attention in the earlier season. We went over that. Like a lot, we knew about this. Like we knew about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think I don't have it. Like I already said, I don't have an issue with him being with Colin or Kimiko or whoever he wants to be with. I think the show though rushed that relationship and then threw it away almost in a blink of an eye. And I think that is what I think kind of threw me for a curveball with this Kimiko
okay,
twist.
my whole thing is like half of the relationships that were going on in Herogasm were male on male and female on female, and like there's guys sitting and farting on cakes. Like a guy having a guy relationship like doesn't feel like tokenism when it's just a part of the story.
Well, you could argue that it is, though. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, there is an argument someone could make because, say, for example, it was a woman. Say, for example, Colin was a woman, and that happened. Character would still feel that same. It would feel like that same space of like being there to further Frenchie's story. They were just there as a plot device, right? And that's fine. But that wouldn't have been done for shock value. That would have been done because they just wanted to use her as a plot device. There's an extra layer to Colin that we have to accept. Like as a gay, there's a trope about throwaway gay characters. It is a TV trope, like killing off gay characters, killing off queer people, getting rid of them, whatever. And I don't think that I thought this show was going to have more intention than that by introducing Colin as a character. And they didn't do that. They just threw that character away.
Okay, but then through the tokenization, right? Have they not added or cemented another layer to Frenchie by making him like bi or pan, like cemented now? Because you said before
but that's what I'm saying though. He was there to further Frenchie's story. He wasn't his own character. That was my argument in the beginning. He's just there to further Frenchie's story. Yeah. So yes, he did in fact add to Frenchie, but that was my argument from the beginning.
Was he in there from the beginning of season 1, like? Or season 2 or season 3?
Colin?
Yeah, Colin.
I don't remember him having any major storyline on this show.
I think he was in just season 4, right?
Dark, do you know?
I think he's just in season 4.
Yeah, it felt like he was casted just to plot the convenient Frenchie.
Yeah, so Eric's right, but okay, hang on.
I'm not saying, look, outside of the tokenization of the character was still a throwaway character, and I think that's why the whole Frenchie Kimiko thing feels like a I don't know, like a turn, like a U-turn for Frenchie's character a bit. Like, why did we go down that path? What was the point of that? What was the purpose of that? Because all we did is end up back where we were. You know what I'm saying? What
Absolutely.
Other than introducing that he could date men and that he was a part of like taking a hit out on somebody, what did we learn about Frenchie other than that? And we already knew that Frenchie had done stuff like that. We were already aware of that.
He technically blew up the Visible guy.
Yeah. So my point, what other element?
He is going in circles. You're right. He is, because this was a lot of the grief that he had of 2 and 3.
What's the one thing? It was a guy. That was the one thing that kind of set it apart from his relationship with Kimiko. So that's kind of why it bugs me. Now, I'm not saying it ruined the season for me or anything like that. I like that they furthered Frenchie's story. I just think that they could have done a bit more. And now looking back at it as a whole season, I kind of wished we would have had more time with Colin, so we could have known a bit more about that character. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I kind of wish we would have gone.
I agree. I agree, and I like thinking about it. Like, it is Frenchie traveling in circles. I can agree with that, and like he does need more direction as a character. But
I agree with you, though. I agree with you in the sense that I think that him being with a man should not have been as shocking as it was. I think people should have paid more attention to that because it was a part of his storyline. But that's the internet for you. Any other thoughts on that element of the series?
Do you think it was? Did you think it was shocking because I couldn't remember if Frenchie ever actually had like any interest in men until now?
Well, he was in a relationship with a man and a woman in this first season when they. Or he had been in a relationship. See, that's what I'm saying. Like 3W. That's exactly why I said they did it for shock value because a lot of people didn't remember that. They didn't know.
I was like, for me, I was like, I thought he was always kind of like straight. I didn't think he was like, because I don't even remember what happens in season 1 with Frenchie.
I mean, the show's been on for like 6 years now. So, wow. We have some.
If you don't mind, if you don't mind jumping around a little bit, I'd like to talk about one problem I do have with the show, and it's something that you brought up the episode before last, I think.
Yeah, we can jump around. My notes aren't like linear to the episode, so you can jump around if you want. It doesn't matter.
Is it
their problem is follow through, right? They cannot follow through on almost anything at the moment.
Yes,
and they have like just big, dramatic, horrifying moments that should just shake a person to their core. And I understand that their world is on fire, but like still, like you should take a minute and realize that you were like got by a shapeshifter, like sexually 20 times, and like what we're just shrugging that off, like that's just okay because the missus doesn't mind. Like, what the hell are we talking about here?
And then it wasn't even that she didn't mind. We'll get into this in a second, but she actually blamed him for a lot of that.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that because I want to talk about the very end of the episode, because I feel like the last 10 minutes of the episode literally should have been the whole season. Honestly, how things went. But...
What was to add on to what Darth was saying about the whole the whole thing about the killing and stuff. Hughie even said this at the beginning. I used to like flinch at killing. Now I just don't blink.
Yeah. I talked about that in season 3. It was one of the things that I had an issue. Actually, I think in season 2 with the show. It looks like Paigey has arrived to give me an L already. So
you might be handing it to somebody else. So
I think Paigey's here because he wants to talk about the Acolyte, that finale. So I think that's why he's arrived.
I was going to be here like whenever you're planning, because I was like, well, I'm not going to be doing anything. And then my sister was like, Alex, can you come help me take some stuff to the garbage tip? So I had to like drive like 20 minutes to hers. And
my God. All right, so we have a super chat here. Cody with a $5 super chat and a Team Airrick member. Shout out to Cody. He's been very transparent with how he feels about Superman, which is the source of everything with Hughie.
Huh?
Homelander? Who has?
Are you talking about? He must be talking about Eric Kripke, right? Are you talking about Eric Kripke, the showrunner?
I haven't been here, but I'm assuming he's talking about Jack Quaid.
Yeah. I'm assuming that's it. Right? Like, let me know, Cody, because I do agree with this.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I agree with you. Yeah. That makes sense. I get it. Plus, he actually auditioned for Superman for James Gunn. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Jack Quaid did.
Yeah.
Didn't want him.
He made a video and everything, and they go that further.
Yeah, I don't know. That was like destined to fail. I don't think.
Could you have seen him playing live action?
No.
God, he's more like Jimmy Olsen than.
Yeah.
There's also now fan casting for Wally West for him.
Yeah, but that's Twitter, and you know that's full of what.
Full of big yes.
Cody, wait till you hear my final thoughts on season 4 and that theory, because I have a lot to say about that. All right, so the next person we want to talk about, and let's talk about this person here, everyone's favorite anti-Homelander weapon, Victoria Neuman, and her story this season.
Oh my God!
So,
wow.
I was reading through Twitter and Reddit and Paigey's favorite place. What is it? Tumblr, Facebook.
I was going to say RedTube.
Like Shiora.
No. So we had a little back and forth here at the house after we watched the episode on whether or not the story was good or bad. So I'm curious what everybody thinks about this. So Victoria Neuman came out of the gate when we first met her as the person, like we found out that she can basically blow people up because of her powers. We didn't know how she did it, but we knew that was what she did. And she was very ruthless. And then over time, she kind of tamed down a bit, I guess is the best word for it. And I have over here in my notes, let me see what I wrote over here. So she was set up for a redemption arc, basically, in the season. And I feel like, and the reason why we're talking about her now is if you look back at the stuff she did this season, I feel like, not in the exact same way, but in a lot of ways, she was a series of plot devices for this season.
Can we say that about every character? Because that's just what story is, right?
No, because let me explain here. So she didn't lash out like she'd done in the past. The bite that she had was gone. The hunger, the drive. She was turned into a visual representation of fear of circumstances. Basically, she was showing the most powerful character next to Homelander was afraid of what was going to happen to her if she crossed Homelander. And that was a major change in her character from previous seasons.
More Zoe than her, really.
Yeah, but she still showed fear. And this is somebody that was literally trained from the start to be the anti-Homelander.
Yeah,
so
I hear that, right?
But weird.
Like, she has to be ready to blow him up. Like, he moves faster than a speeding bullet. She can't be ready 24 hours a day.
But she took his laser beams directly to her head, and it did not kill her.
That's not to say that he couldn't speed in and rip her head off.
Maybe, but the point is that she is the best weapon they had against Homelander, and she literally was. She had worked all the way up to the point in the season of calling and asking for help. She had completely turned, right? She called to ask for help. She went to their bunker. Hughie was willing to give her help. What are you going to say, 3Dub?
Oh, maybe when she turned, she lost her power to be a powerful thing for Homelander.
I mean, maybe that's what happened to Starlight, right? Most of the season.
But the thing is, it's dangerous at the top, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, she had all of the fight to get to the top, but then when she was there, she realized what a precarious position that is, and how dangerous, and like just the slightest nudge, and boom, you're gone. Do you know what I mean?
But let me tell you, I'm going to blow your mind.
Would be scared of that. Yeah,
I'm going to blow your mind because what I'm going to say next is going to literally go, you're right. You ready to tell me that I'm right?
Go for it. Go for it.
So she spent the whole season working up to turning around and working with the boys. That was what her storyline was this season, because Sage had pushed her, when she was in the room with all of the white guys and they were being racist and misogynistic and all that. They had pushed her. They had set her up for probably the next biggest redemption arc next to A-Train, right? That was kind of where they had put her character at. They finally had the position to get her and help, and she even admitted she would help them take out Homelander. She admitted to it when she was standing there with Hughie and the rest of the boys. And then we see Butcher come in, and we're going to talk about Butcher next, so that's why I'm going this direction. You see Butcher come in, who's got his new symbiote powers where he can tentacle things out of his body and everything. And he is able to easily defeat Victoria. Okay. The reason why they did that, the only reason why they did that, was to show that Butcher was powerful enough to stop someone who could stand up to Homelander. She literally was a plot device to show how powerful Butcher was.
You're right.
Because there's no other reason for her to have been killed off at that point.
See, I would argue that it was more shock value than
but that doesn't change what
you're
it
talking
is.
Maybe.
Why was it shocking though? Why was it shocking though?
Because of how powerful.
Because of how powerful she is, and that Butcher needed to show you that he's powerful enough to fight Homelander. That is why that scene happened.
And you're right. Say it. Say it. You're right.
Maybe.
Because her storyline ended, and then we see Zoe go away to that red room place, whatever the hell that was.
Which that was where Neuman grew up. It went full circle. That was actually quite good. That was actually kind of good.
Yes. No, it was good. It was good. That's what made me so angry about this, because although I understand that they needed to show how powerful Butcher was, and I get that part, they worked really hard to try and turn Victoria around. In
the only thing is, though, right, is that once you have her on side, right, the only thing, season 5, episode 1 of The Boys should just be her outside of Vought Tower with some binoculars blowing Homelander up. There should...
the truth is, we talked about this. There was a lot of padding this season. There was a lot of opportunities for characters that they just basically took the longest route possible to get to. And I think a lot of that has to do with them just building up to season 5. I'm sorry, what were you going to say, 3Dub?
What was the episode called?
It had the title a Assassin something in it, but they changed it. They just called it episode 8. They didn't give it another title.
I was going to say, you could have said No Guts, No Glory.
Maybe. but yeah, seeing that happen for me, And look, no one else that I know wanted to see Victoria anymore because it was a very satisfying. Look, let's be honest. It was a satisfying kill because Victoria's been a garbage person for a very long time. But I was actually excited to see her try to go after Homelander because I think Homelander still would have beat her. But I wanted to see her make the attempt so we could see how powerful she is. But that would have lifted up that facade that we needed for Butcher to fight her, to defeat her, to show that he's powerful enough to fight Homelander, which is why that scene happened.
See, like, while she needs the boys, though, if she's in a group, like, she, as powerful as Starlight and Kamiko are, she's going to be like a big Gatling gun of superpower. She could just take out, like, troves of people. So I think taking her out keeps the stakes really high. If you had her on the team, you'd feel as safe as you do when you know it's Kamiko in a fight with everybody else. You're like, oh, okay, she's there. We're blessed. We're fine. You know? But I think she needed to be taken out, I feel like.
Yeah, Assassination Run was the original title of the episode. No, I mean, I'm not arguing that she should have lived because, again, she was one of those, like, I don't know what she's going to do. You know, but I would have liked to have seen it, especially considering how this episode ended. And I have some issues with that. We'll get to that. We're almost there. But the next thing I want to talk about is the Hughie and Starlight stuff. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Okay, let's talk. We'll talk about them individually and together. But 3Dub, you look like you're ready to say something, so I'm going to let you say it. Go ahead.
I hated the fact that, like, in episode 6, we had that whole, like, trauma that Hughie had, and you said that it was touched up. It wasn't. It was barely touched.
It was. I said it was a tiny bit.
I don't. The follow through sucked.
Darth Bunyan said it. The follow through on the boys. I mean, that's what I complained about 2 weeks ago.
I hated this. Like, I don't even think it was the same person. That was it actually Starlight, or was it the switcheroo?
Wait. On this episode,
on 7. Was the
switcheroo happened during 7?
Right at the end,
but was the conversation with the switch or her?
Which one?
In the bar? In the bar?
The
conversation about what happened to him.
Yes.
That was with Starlight.
Yeah, that was with Starlight. Yeah, it happened right before the switch happened. Yeah.
Thank God. I thought I lost my cool for a second because I was thinking it happened with the switch. I'm like, what the heck?
Before I get to the human stuff, before I get to that, I have to give Erin all the fucking credit in the world because she played this other version of herself, talking to herself, probably the best monologuing, I guess you would call it, because it's one person, in the entire series. Like, it was great.
Better than the Flash when he did it to himself.
It was great. She did a great job with it, playing this evil shapeshifter version of herself.
She tore in.
Let me tell you, when I ask for information about stuff, it could not have been given to me in a more perfect package than it did with the shape-shifting thing. And let me tell you why. After she was in the room with Hughie and they were doing the proposal and all this stuff was happening, and she knew so many things about Starlight, in the back of my mind, I'm like, how the fuck does she know all this stuff? Like, I get that she looks like her, but how does she know, right? And a lot of times if you're watching another show, they might not tell you. But when she goes to talk to Starlight, she makes it very clear on how she knows these things, because not only does she shapeshift, but she actually gets the memories of the person that she's copying. And she tells us that in a very quick way when she's using that to, like, antagonize Starlight. I was like, this is all I want. Like, that's all I need sometimes from a show, is for them to give me an idea of how it works. Because saying, oh, they don't need to hold your hand. No, sometimes the writers just don't want to tell you because it doesn't make sense. That's the reason why. But this one made total sense to me. I loved it. I love Starlight's journey this season. We're going to talk about the last scene with her when we get there at the end of the episode. Because I can't.
Yeah, I have confusion about that. I have some confusion about that, right? Because like her whole thing is like accepting that she's kind of a bitch, right? And then what? Just because she's accepted that she's a bit of an a-hole, that she now has her powers back.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. We'll see. We'll talk more about it in a bit, but I do want to talk about this whole situation. So Hughie is with the shapeshifter. They're doing the 1-2 step in the bedroom, okay? And that's what Paigey calls it, the 1-2 step. I know that because
I had that thought. What if the reason she got her powers back is because she's with Hughie now?
I mean, they were together already during the season when that was happening.
they separated when she lost her powers? Like in like.
I mean, that's a good theory. I can't say yes or no to that. I don't know.
I'm just it's a coincidence. It's very coincidental.
So the two of them, Hughie and the shapeshifter, were together. And to be very clear here, the shapeshifter is literally a copy of Annie. Like, she knows all of Annie's mannerisms. She knows all the history of Annie. She looks like her. Literally just a copy of that character, except for a couple small things here and there. And Hughie has to deal with the trauma, of episode 6. And then in episode 8, we find out that he had been non-consensual stuff with this other person over and over and over again. And how does he get paid back for that? By Starlight blaming him for not knowing it's her.
Yeah. Yeah, no concern. Just how dare you? And let us not forget, she apparently took liberties during that non-consensual encounter as well.
She didn't even feel bad that it happened to him. She was more worried that he did it because this person literally copied her. How would he know from the jump? What if it happened 1 time, 2 times, 20 times, whatever it is? It was taken as a joke here. He was being intimate with somebody who was lying to him about who they were. So it happened again this season.
See, this is that double standard again, because if it was the other way around, everybody would be more concerned. Everybody would be asking if she was okay.
Like, I'm not a stick in the mud, right? You can play it off as, he's a guy and maybe he liked that kind of stuff or whatever, but clearly he didn't. Clearly she didn't. So you have to look at it as what it is. It was non-consensual acts together. And being blamed while you're the victim and then literally no resolution to that at all. The story moves on without them ever clearing that up is fucking awful.
Yeah.
It's just awful.
Yeah, the fact that it was him apologizing and chasing her and then she's come to, that's fine, and then that's it. And it's just a joke. Really hammers home the double standard that the show has got. And it's crazy.
I don't think he apologized. I mean, he basically told her how he found out.
Dude, he went through a whole 80s rom-com speech at the end of please don't leave me, I love you. This is how I knew it was you.
But he didn't say I'm sorry.
No, but what he was saying
it was an implied apology. It's an implied apology.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Look, I think that Hughie's story in the beginning of the season with his dad was extremely compelling. I didn't like how it ended because I don't even know if we've really processed all of that yet, to be completely honest. I don't know if we're going to process it in season 5. The stuff with his mom fell off the cliff. He's like, I can't hate her forever, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then all of the stuff, the assaults that happened to him in the course of 3 episodes, and we still haven't addressed that. What the fuck? Do they have a fetish for abusing Hughie? I feel like they just like to put him in bad positions. I don't know.
Feels like really he's just the butt of the joke at this point.
He's basically like what happens with comic books where everything's going great, but wait, there's a 180 that's about to happen. He's basically a living comic book.
Well, the funny thing is, while we were watching it and the situation was happening with the proposal and everything, I said as we were watching it, I'm like, when the proposal was happening, why can this happen with a shapeshifter and Hughie and they have a really happy moment, but this kind of stuff never happens with Starlight and Hughie? Why is that? It's so weird. It's so weird to me. Well,
they had their cute moments to get, when they were dating. Now it's just they're mired in the crap together. We don't really see anybody have good times together. Well,
that's one of the issues I have with the show is that I feel like we need to have some sort of light, some levity, and we're heading into an extremely dark season, but we're doing so without any light from this season at all. It feels like this season was just doubling down on all the awful shit that we already deal with. It's I don't know. Maybe I'm getting fed up with the dark and dour superhero media.
I will say what's happening to Butcher resemble Oh, we're going to Homelander now.
Yeah, I'm gonna save the Butcher stuff for last because I have some other notes for that. I want to.
Okay, so Homelander.
Well, this is also going to tie into Butcher because of Ryan. That's why I moved it around.
Okay, I see the train.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like the whole show's humor always relies on the dark, though. I mean, this season's funny stuff was mostly Cameron Coleman being dommed and Kevin or the Deep's relationship with an octopus.
Yeah, that was it. Well, and his relationship with Black Noir, that was also.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was amazing.
We'll at the end we'll talk about the bottles and bits from the episode. So in this episode, Homelander didn't really have much, to be quite honest. It was sort of like 3 major scenes with him. So he had the part where he found out Ryan was keeping a picture of Butcher, and I don't think it was him with them. It was just Butcher, his mom, and their dog. I don't think he was in the picture, right?
No, yeah,
Ryan wasn't in that picture.
It was before the assault.
Oh, okay, got it. So he freaks out. Him and Ryan get into a argument. Ryan goes flying off to talk to Butcher. That's where we'll go with that. But then he goes into the interview with Firecracker and Victoria, and he's still sort of reeling from the argument with Ryan, which I'll be completely honest, the progression of that one scene to the next kind of threw me for a loop. I'm like, he just had a meltdown with Ryan and now he's on a news broadcast. Like, for me, I'm like, what happened? How did we get to that? It was just kind of weird. So then he's sitting there and he decides to out Victoria as a superhero on TV, and that's when he does the heat vision at her, and it doesn't really do much. It burns her, but then she heals almost immediately. So that's going on.
Half apparently is done deal.
The what now?
I was like, apparently a rip in half is a done deal.
Oh yeah, exactly. So then he argues with her about like them getting in line, and so he also threatens Zoe with her, which is what caused her to change her mind in the beginning of the episode, or not the beginning, like the middle of the episode. And all this is going on while Sister Sage is absent, and so he's kind of spiraling a bit because of everything that happens. And we don't really get much from him in this episode. It kind of was sort of, I don't know what I was expecting, but he honestly wasn't really the primary focus of the episode.
I'm okay with that.
Character standpoint. Yeah.
I'm okay with that because, like, how many times can you, like, evade somebody that's supposed to be so powerful and have a conflict with him that just ends in a stalemate, you know? And he set like a whole bunch of stuff in motion and then had the whole chicken coop running around crazy. So, you know, I'm fine with that, to be honest. Like him taking a step back for next season, I'm cool.
Okay. Any other thoughts on that, 3Dub?
No.
So, we'll segue from this into Sister Sage. So Sister Sage shows up at the very end. And I was so happy about this, and let me tell you why. Because all I saw on social media last week was how dumb she was. Because she let Homelander outsmart her. That was all over the place. There were videos made about it. There were people on Twitter complaining about it. People on freaking Reddit complaining about it. About how dumb she was. And I kept saying, she planned all of this. Do you not understand that she planned all of this? She has contingency plans for everything. That's how a smart person functions. You wouldn't know that they're using you and controlling the situation because they wouldn't let you know. That's the thing. Homelander thought he was in control this whole time, and he wasn't. Sage was. And she ends up getting it so that the Secretary of Defense, can't remember the guy's name. I think I had
Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the House, that's who it was. The guy from the party they were at. Basically, the old guy that was saying racist shit or whatever. So he wants to pledge his loyalty to Homelander. And when he asked her why she did all this, she just said because she wanted to see if she could do it. Do we believe that or do we not believe that? Do we think that's the only reason that she went through with all this was to see if she could actually do it?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Because there's other plans. I feel like those plans wouldn't have been set in motion if this was the test. Maybe. So yes, to kind of see if I could do it. And a part of it was can I push my talents that far? you know, like because everybody plays like games, like with people, you know, and like plays statistics and stuff. You know what I mean? Like people play those kind of scenarios. So yeah, I genuinely think it was a test for herself and for the next stage, and I love that. I genuinely love that, like a test of skill.
Yeah, I love that she came back in and was like, yeah, this is what I planned. So all these people online that complained, this is why when you're reviewing a TV show versus a movie and all this other shit, you have to wait for certain things to happen before you start screaming and hollering about it. For example, a season-long plan from a character that is supposed to be the smartest character in the room, smartest character in the world, right? This character that's supposed to be planning everything. You have to wait till the season is done. It's only one more episode to find out if this is what they intended or not. You start complaining about it, you look really stupid. And that's why Paige told me to stop doing that. Anyway, so Sister Sage, shout out to her. Thought she did a great job.
Go
ahead.
Me for the loop was the fact that she looked confused when Homelander ripped that guy in half. Like it wasn't like intentionally planned, but at the same time she thought of it.
Well, I think the issue with that was that that was one of the things that she had a contingency plan for. She didn't expect that to happen, but she always knew there was a possibility that Homelander would do things that she couldn't predict, which is why she called him out for that. She's like, you know, from you being you, basically, that's like she was calling him out on that. So, so Charles,
which she also did in the apartment. Sorry. Yeah.
Charles said, I still call BS on Sister Sage's plan. It really doesn't work, but we don't know what the plan is. What is her actual plan, Charles? I'm not trying to make fun of you in front of everybody. I'm not trying to call you out, but do we know what her plan is? That's why I just said her saying she just was doing it because she was seeing if she could. I don't know if I believe that. That to me feels like more manipulation. Am I right on that? That feels like more manipulation to me.
Feels like a wordplay to where it puts someone else's mind thinking something else. Like it's
like her whole plan could revolve around the cure that her grandmother was denied. You know, like it could be around anything that we don't know, and the ramifications could be outrageous.
And we probably never know until the finale of season 5.
Well, that's the thing is, Canograph says short term her plan was to get Homelander in charge, and it worked. Absolutely. I mean, if that was the goal achieved. So,
but there's a plan too.
Right. But my thing is, as Charles was saying, what would be her other plan that didn't work? Because you said it doesn't really work. What is it that didn't work? I'd love to know. If you have a theory about it, I'd love to hear what that is. Defunct here said, very surprised Firecracker didn't die too. Let's talk about her for a second. Creepy ass character. She's been creepy all season, just unhinged. I thought, tell me if I've lost my mind here, because it's quite possible, but when she was sick, I thought she had the superhero virus. Does she have the superhero virus?
No. It's just the medicine that she's taking is making her ill.
But isn't that a weird coincidence to like the superhero virus and her?
It was, and I sat there thinking, "Oh my god, somebody's dosed her, and this is amazing! Like it's good. Like her breast milk's going to make Homelander sick." I had like a whole thing I was working with, and it just nope, her heart's just a bit bigger.
That's so weird, so creepy at the same time. Anyway, she's relatively. I don't even know. Like I know she's got her firecracker powers, but other than that, she doesn't really do anything except get on TV and talk shit. Like that's pretty much all she does. So Charles here says, this is the clarification on the comment. Putting Homelander in power, yes. Getting Singer arrested, yes. But Neuman getting killed was based on Butcher losing it after Ryan killed Grace. How could she call that? Because that's her superpower. She's super smart, so she's thinking of every possible scenario and how it can achieve the goal she wanted. So she was coming up with plans in her mind of certain people that may or may not have been killed based on the actions of other dominoes falling. And it's hard for us to see that because we can't conceptualize what she can as the smartest character. And you might say, well, that's just the story, blah, 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 etc. Yeah, but that's the point, right? She's a smart character. So she's able to, like, she even said it in her speech. She said that there were going to be other things that happened that she couldn't have predicted, but ultimately she had contingency plans to get them to where they needed to go. So I think there's other things that might have happened during the season if the writers are really smart. Well, I don't know, but I think there's other things that could have happened during the season that would have caused them to get to where they are now without the same situations occurring.
I don't think they're her level of smart though.
So it's the same way as how Batman could beat everybody with prep time. Sister Sage's plans are like just up there. They're up there. Right. Don't question them. They're great.
I mean, think about this. What if she would have told Homelander about A-Train? He would have killed A-Train off, and then there was another set of dominoes that would have fallen from that. So she probably had that mapped out as well. Like, how is that going to happen?
It will be too soon for his contract.
Yeah. Before we get into the final bits of the episode, what else do I have in my notes here? Before we get into the final bits of the episode with Butcher and everything, make sure we have everything here. Okay, we'll talk about Butcher and Ryan, and then I want to talk about all of the stuff with the what?
The layoffs?
Oh, yeah. All that's in my notes. Yeah, but I want to get through the big portions of the story first.
Yeah.
Cool. So Butcher, Ryan, and Grace had a scene together in the facility where they were taking care of him after what happened last episode. And Ryan shows up. And I know people are going to disagree with me on this, and that's fine. I'm already ready to feel the wrath of that. But how stupid is Grace? Like, I understand that she felt stress and pressure to make sure that it worked the way she wanted it to. But for fuck's sake, you just told this kid that he is a product of grape with a G. Grape. A product of grape, because I know YouTube will come at me for that one. Of assault from Homelander to his mother. So be very careful about how you say that. But a product of that. And so he hasn't even done unpacking that, and he's been groomed by Homelander. So he's there after being groomed by Homelander, being told that he's a product of grape, and then being told that Butcher didn't tell him about this stuff, that he lied to him all these years about it, then being told that he can't leave because they want to use him as a weapon, and then being told that if he tries to leave, they're going to lock him up. And she kept pushing him.
Yeah.
I think it was a push for him to kill her. Like they needed.
You think she was?
They needed the scene to wrap up really fast, so they pushed the kid over the edge to throw her across the room.
I have a similar feeling about the Acolyte. We'll talk more about that when we get to it, but I do want to point this out. I think the amount of episodes in this season and the Acolyte season
should have been longer.
It should have been longer. I feel like we should have had more episodes.
100%.
So across the board, that's my thought on the two seasons. I think we need at least one, maybe two more episodes to get everything done right.
Pacing sucked. It should have split into the conversation should have eased the kid, not full on
they didn't need a sledgehammer. He's been groomed by Homelander. Yeah. If you would have let him talk to Butcher and she would have walked her ass out of that fucking room, maybe he could have convinced him to stay. But instead she kept hammering and hammering and hammering. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was playing Connect 4 with them. He's literally right there with the kid, and she's like, "Oh, by the way, I know you're all playing a game, but your mother was assaulted. And that's why you're."
What the fuck? Yeah. She had, and this is the thing as well. Is this. I will say this is bad writing because she spent so much time with him. To say that she loved him is because of the time that she spent with him. So she should know how to deal with him and know how out of left field this behavior would be. Why would you just slap him in the face with this? You know how to deal with the guy because he came to you after he accidentally unalived his mother, right? And then he's in your care and you brought him out of his shell through that. So you know how to deal with him. So what the hell were you playing at?
Yeah. And let's just talk about what happened with Butcher. He basically just gives in to the cancer and allows it to, because he looks like he's about to die, basically. And so he's like, okay, I'll just give in, whatever you want. And now he looks he's fresh out the gate. Looks like he just came back from working out in the gym for 24 hours. And he walks in and now he's got these tentacles that come out of him, like symbiote shit. But except more organic. And
I will say this kind of like is not like straight from the comic book, but it also pulls from the comic book. Like he goes off the hinge in the comic book. And
well, clearly his decision with what he did to Victoria was not only him, because Butcher wanted to kill her, but it wasn't just him. It was him and the cancer, because Hughie was like, just give me this one thing or whatever. And he didn't even consider it. He was just like, no.
It
you know what I mean?
honestly feels like he has a dual personality right now.
Like Venom, basically.
Yeah. He does. And the thing is he wants like the big G for all soups. So the fact that he left Kamiko and Starlight and Grace all alive is interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, Darkson, that's what I think.
Well, that he'll be the final boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily a total spoiler because the show's changed things, so I don't know.
If I've been like avoiding trying to like compare it to the comic book, just so people will be like surprised.
Yeah.
But
So Canada's maybe Editor Barrage at Homelander called for the assassination part right now. Maybe he still listens a bit, but you dropped big 3 chakras on those too much. And basically like not letting Butcher work with his magic. He was working his magic on Ryan, and that that wasn't good. Let's see what else. I got my notes here. One of the things that kind of annoyed me was, and this has kind of been a thing for the whole season, is the real world shit that they just don't make satire. Like, for example, January 6th. I was like, you could have picked January 9th, January 13th, January 1st. You could have done any other date. You picked January 6th. And I'm like, okay. But at the very least, but at the very least, they use like make supers great again, or make soups great again, or whatever. Make America super again, whatever the slogan was. They said like 3 or 4 different ones, but at least they tried to do something with that. But these dates and name drops of real people, I'm like, oh god, I can do without that 100%.
Not gonna lie, that went over my head when I saw it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't think about it because it's been put in my rearview mirror. Basically.
Yeah. I was trying to find a picture of Ashley here. So we had the situation where Black Noir and the Deep get told by Homelander to go around and make sure they get rid of every single person that has dirt on Homelander. Well, the 7, but basically Homelander. Yeah. And Deep is like so stupid. Deep is so fucking stupid. He's like, well, shouldn't Ashley's name be at the top of the list? And Homelander's like, yeah, right. So yes, confirms that. But then he writes her name on how do you spell her last
Ashley.
name or something? It was like, what the fuck? Like, that's not the important part. What are you doing?
I think that was a joke because there's a lot of Ashleys in the building.
No,
he spells Ashley as well. He spells it.
But he was writing it on the list, like putting it at the top of the list, like physically putting it at the top of the list. Where I thought that was funny.
That was, yeah. What's interesting as well is this goes into the conversation you and I were having as well about what happens, like after Homelander, when everything comes to an end. Like, how does the world keep turning when there's so many evil people that like Vought has to come crashing down by the end of it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, all of the people that are complicit, like, what happens to them? Like, do they just carry on consequence free? Like, there's so many people that have committed so many crimes just because of Vought.
They have a defense where they can be like they were out of fear, which they were.
Yeah, I'm sure some of them would say that. Look at her head here. Like, I was like, what is going on with her? Like, what is happening?
It was all molding.
I was actually shocked that her hair fell. I was like, what? Oh, well, okay.
Because she has a wig because of her alopecia. And
I didn't remember her wig. That's
well, the thing is though that she people are saying, is she going to become Medusa? Like, is her hair going to become alive and like
ironic? Yeah.
Or is she going to be like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation where she can turn back into her normal self, but then she could also turn into like a big monster, like
it also
the Hulk or something.
That it's a different actress.
I'm expecting the leader.
Maybe. Oh, maybe you might be right. But did you see when Black Noir was like, I gotta kill, like, was it a murder boner or something like that? I was like, what the fuck
that was
going on?
amazing. That was so funny. That was so funny. That paid off so well. I love their little bromance.
The funny thing is that they actually like led up to that a lot. They spent a lot of time building up to that. So,
it was so good.
What else do we have here? Okay, so I got a few things over here. A-Train's movie getting canceled for tax write-off. I was like, okay, I'll accept that one.
That girl.
Yeah, that one, I loved it. I was just about to say Batgirl. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I was whooping at the TV.
Yeah, I was like, I'll accept that one. Let's see.
I paused The Boys to sit and go to a whole explanation to my friend that did not know about it.
Yeah,
that poor guy.
Okay, so another thing I had in my notes is Butcher still going to die, or now is he like, now that he's accepted the symbiote into his body, is he good or what?
Well,
like, is he gonna live?
Well, if they follow the comics, yes, he will eventually die.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, if they're gonna follow the comics, or is it still
yeah, but I get what you mean. Like, I think the cancer is healing him, and I think he's fine for the moment while they're in symbiosis. But the second the cancer goes,
basically Deadpool.
I'm not sure. Like, because logically it should leave him a riddled mess, and he should be on the verge of death, right? But it could be like comic booky, where he's just fine once they get rid of the suit bit. You know,
yeah,
basically like Deadpool, where they put the cancer out in the open and basically it got him to mutate.
The other one I have here is I broke down about Zoe ending up in the same group that her mother was trying to avoid having her in. So at the end of the episode, we got two things to talk about. And I was going to show the video here, but I'm not sure if YouTube is going to be happy if I play the video, so we'll just talk about it.
It's too graphic.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. So, all right. So all of our characters and the boys decide they're going to go their separate ways, at least for the time being, until they can come up with a plan on how to stop Homelander. Because now Homelander has been given the keys to the castle, and he has supers being super cops all around the world, basically. And well, at least around the country. I don't know about around the world, but probably around the world. So as they're trying to escape, they all get captured. So let's talk about the individual captures, I guess. By the way, talk about a character that kind of got dropped after like episode 5. Mother's Milk disappeared as a character. Like, I know he had little bits and pieces, but he had a really strong storyline the first like 4 episodes. And then once Butcher was allowed back in as the quote unquote leader of the boys, he kind of disappeared. Like, his storyline just kind of disappeared. I know they brought it back every once in a while to talk about him and his daughter and his wife and stuff, but it was very, but it was very like short, you know. And the A-Train stuff was kind of more about A-Train than it was about Mother's Milk, I believe. So,
well, I mean, like he was there.
no, he was, but I think that was more to show the change in A-Train than it was Mother's Milk, to be honest. But
yeah,
either way, like there wasn't a lot from him. Anyway, he goes to leave. He gets stopped by doing that. Kimiko and Frenchie try to leave, and they get stopped by the Gen V kids.
I know, that was great. That was great.
Kimiko yelling was really I was like,
I know. I couldn't believe it. I had to rewind it. I was like, wait a minute, is that coming from her? I was like, wait, what?
The thing about it is, like, when we saw her fighting with Starlight against the shapeshifter and she got punked again, I'm so mad that Kimiko doesn't get the credit she deserves. She needs to be a better character. Although I think Starlight defeating her was definitely the shit. I love that. I thought that was great. But I want more for Kimiko. That's another reason why I guess I'm sad about the relationship thing. I feel like she's locked into that relationship with Frenchie, and she can't ever break out of it. But this was a great scene. This was great. Together. I agree with the scene.
One thing I was confused about is how the heck did Starlight be able to punch Nor and Deep without her powers?
Well, it's the projectile she was working on, but she's still biologically strong.
I was gonna say, I don't think that the physical powers went away. I think it was just the light powers. As far as
so it only targeted one part.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It was a little weird. Like you said, we don't totally understand what happened with that.
Speaking of the Red River Institute, quickly, that is also where Marie Monroe from Gen V grew up as well.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little universe
On
building.
the plus side, I guarantee you, unless they cancel the Boys New Mexico, we're not going to have the virus as the end game
No, probably not.
because they need powers over there.
Are they still planning on the spinoff shows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get Kate and I always get Luke and Sam mixed up. Kate and Sam wrangling up Frenchie and Kimiko, which, by the way, I think they knew how dangerous Kimiko is, which is why they sent the two of them to get them, because I don't think anybody else could have done that easily. But you're dealing with somebody who basically was another anti-Homelander character against Kimiko and Kate, who fucking such a devious character. Did she have her arm back? Because didn't she lose her arm? Part of her
She
arm.
did lose her arm, and I'm expecting a prosthesis, but she keeps wearing gloves, so I can't. I think she's wearing gloves.
I wonder if there's a soup that can regenerate body parts, and they can do that for people or something. Because otherwise, why would she be covering up one of her arms? Because it's not a real. It wouldn't be a real hand. So I don't know. I'm thinking too much. We'll find out in Gen V, I'm sure, what happens with them, because we're getting that next year for sure.
Yeah.
So they said Gen V next year, and the boys' final season in 2026 is what they're saying now. So I don't know. We see Butcher driving around with the virus, I guess, in his hand or whatever by himself. Then we see Hughie and Starlight driving away together, and the Magneto person, I can't remember her name, comes after the two of them along with the Vought security people. And they get Hughie, and Starlight's powers like kick back in, like full power, and she flies away like crazy. Like I was like, oh my god, what is happening here? Yeah. So we're gonna be dealing with like a fully powered up Starlight probably next season, if I had to guess. Any thoughts on that before we talk about the like post-credit scene or whatever?
I automatically flash back to like Oliver and Felicity riding in the sunset when Hughie and Starlight.
Yeah. So Cindy is her name. Yeah, that's it.
Cindy, yeah. So I was confused because I thought Cindy had the same powers as Neuman and Marie, and then all of a sudden she's a telekinetic, because the whole time when they were running away from her in the clinic, she was there just exploding people like Neuman does.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So Comic Nation Gaming says she has a fake arm. Eric Kripke confirmed it. So I missed that interview. There's so many interviews with him. I haven't been able to read them all. But Lone Wolf says, how do you think Gen V season 2 will play out given how this ends? I think it's they're going to have to change, because obviously because of losing a character, they're going to have to change the season somewhat. So I don't know how it's going to play out now at this point. We'll probably learn more as we get close to it.
Know that they said that the character is going to have a burial on, like, they're going to respect the character and not recast them.
Yeah. No, I think that's the best way to do it. I think at this point, we got a couple comments here from Anthony that I want to talk about when we wrap this up. But the last thing I want to talk about is that post-credit scene with Soldier Boy being recovered and locked in like one of those containment tubes or whatever. Now, I knew months ago that there was a high probability Soldier Boy would be coming back in the final season.
Yep, Sam Winchester.
Like yeah,
based on Jared Padalecki too.
Yeah. So, how do we feel about this? I'm excited for it because he was like one of the best parts of last season. So
I kind of want him to talk to the hallucination Butcher has for a family reunion. Like he just hallucinates the same guy.
Oh my God.
Well, they will be on set together. That will be something that could possibly happen, depending on how quickly
100%
can be a thing happens.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I like that tease. I thought that was good. Overall, though, my thoughts on the whole season is there was way too much padding. They did not follow through on a lot of stuff. And at the end of the day, they needed at least one more episode, I think, maybe 2 more episodes this season to get everything done in a proper way. So Some of the decisions they made I thought were a little transparent. I don't like they had way too many references to the real world, not enough satire. But I still enjoyed the season. I think it was good. But like Anthony says here, season 3 was way better than season 4. I think season 3 was a stronger season. I enjoyed season 3 a lot more. And then he says, like the way they handled the season seems rushed. Yes. Again, echoing back to what I was saying about it needed more episodes or something like that. They only have one more season and they're locked in for that. So it doesn't really matter how popular this season was. They're going to get a fifth and final season. So
I did feel like season 2 was my favorite.
The Stormfront season?
Yeah. I did think that, but also I'm a little like picky with season 1 also was great. But season 4 not great. Not compared to those.
So I would give the whole season probably a 7 out of 10. That's my score for the whole season. Now that I've seen the finale, I think 7 out of 10 is a good solid score for me.
I think a way to look at this season for me is this is a low moment for the whole team of the boys, right? This is a season full of losses. You know, like they kind of like scrape by their fingernails and the edge of their teeth and all of that anyway, but they have like a fair amount of wins. They had like a lot of losses, and I think it's hard to have resolution to things while continuing a loss. So maybe, as you said, like this could be a 2-part story where like a lot of things get tied off in season 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do feel like this season or this episode spent a lot of time setting up the final season. And so that kind of annoyed me. Because the boys, every other season, you've got sort of some finality to a lot of the stuff. This one felt like they were just basically setting up season 5. So, I don't know. Any other thoughts about this before we move on to the Acolyte? Any other thoughts and opinions? Or
just that I really, really enjoyed it, honestly. I just had a lot of fun this season. Tech Night was amazing.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think also we need to figure out what's going to happen with like locking people up, because Tech Night was the one that was privatizing the prisons. Now he's gone. So what's that look like in season 5? I don't know. We'll have to get there. All right, so now it's time to talk about the Acolyte season 1. We're going to talk about the finale episode, but kind of the whole thing. I did my review already on the finale, so I do have some notes here that I took for the episode. But so Anthony here says season 5 only has 8 episodes to finish. Yeah, I saw that as well.
You know what? Just quickly before you move on to the Acolyte, I have one thing to ask about with the boys. As you as a viewer, do you find it hard to watch?
Yes, sometimes.
No.
In what way? What do you mean?
In regards to, well, because there's a reason I stopped watching it, because I use TV for escapism. And as I said, like in season 2, like they really stopped even trying to, and they just sort of like, let's pick up a newspaper instead.
There's a lot of eye rolls from me, to be honest. And the reason why is because I like when they satirize stuff. Like, for example, the play on the A-Train movie getting dropped for like, you know, tax write-offs.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny because it connected the tax write-off with the A-Train movie, which is they've been doing the movie thing since season 1. But when they use stuff like AOC and January 6th and trans rights and all this stuff that doesn't really connect directly to the world of the boys, I kind of get a little bit annoyed, because I'm like, you could do something more unique to that world. So for me, that's probably the roughest parts of the
for me, it's the gore. Like, basically, I question my morality because I'm watching people getting ripped in half.
Yeah, it's
right. But the thing is, though, is they're not living in Metropolis or Gotham City. They're living in our world.
Yeah.
So they need some realism for that. Right? So they have to use name pulls. They have to use brands. They have to use everything that you're.
I disagree, though. You know why I disagree? Who is AOC in the world of the boys? Who is that character? What does she represent? What does Bernie Sanders represent in that world? Where
no, but they're anchors to our reality.
But they don't make sense because there's nothing that connects them to the boys' universe. Victoria Neuman is the AOC of that world, so we don't need an AOC. That was what her character was supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need Donald Trump in that world because we have Homelander. So why do we need AOC?
Well,
That's what that is the character's representation in that series. Eric Kripke has said it. We don't need certain people to exist in that world because there's already a representation of them
I
on
think
the
because
show.
it's accurate.
No, I mean, like, that's my genuine thing. Like, I know what you're saying, Darth, and yes, there need to be some ties, but when you're name dropping characters that already have a parallel existing in the show, it's like it's a redundancy. Like, you could pick someone else.
That I could agree with, yeah. So
You know,
they should have chosen someone other than AOC, but yeah, I agree on that one.
Yeah. It's not just the name drops; it's the ones they choose to name drop. Like, for example, when they did Zendaya as the safe word, it made me laugh because that was a funny joke.
Yeah, that made sense. Yeah.
But in the world of the boys, the only movie stars are soups. So is Zendaya a soup in that world? Who is she in that world?
Well, is it only because they have the VCU? There must be
and
other
the only
other
people
companies.
that were able to get into that were soups. There were no.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, the VCU wouldn't be like the sole provider. Like how the military still exists, the police still exist. Like, there's still industries that exist.
Yes, there's probably indie movies, but hear me out on this, and this is being very pedantic, okay? But Zendaya being popular enough to be someone's safe word would require the Zendaya that we know, not the one that exists in the world of the boys, because it doesn't make sense otherwise.
We don't remember indie actors unless you're like an indie fan, like you love nothing but indies.
Like that kind of joke feels less like it exists in that world, and it's more like a breaking of the fourth wall, basically, to me, is what it feels like. And that's fine. I don't necessarily have an issue with that, but I think it becomes a little bit overbearing when the show relies on that.
Well, to be fair, I like the show itself is it's just meant to be one big piece of meta. Like, that's what it's meant to be. Like, I mean, I think listening to you, I think you explained that the show is very choppy in the regards to the writing. Like, your conversation for the past since I got back here pretty much confirms that, and that's sort of been the case since middle of the season.
Canada Graphs makes a good point, right? So Seth Rogen would be working with Universal or Warner Brothers and things like that, as opposed to Vought. So there are other producers and shit, stuff that exist.
Exactly, but what does that look like in the world of the boys, where the biggest movies are by superheroes? What does that look like is what I'm saying. Like, Seth Rogen would not be a massive star in a world where superheroes make movies. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, the thing is our purview is always superheroes, and they're always vying for attention. But that's not to say that that's all people watch.
So Vought TV, Vought Soda, Vought Burger, all of these businesses connected to Vought. It is the biggest entertainment company in the world. So yes, there would be other things, but if Vought is the one making all of these things, they are only using supers. So Seth Rogen and Will Ferrell being there are funny. I'll give them that. But in the sense of how they function in that world, why would Will Ferrell be a bigger star than A-Train? Why would they be so excited to be working with him? That doesn't make any sense in the world of the boys.
I think we got to agree to disagree on that one.
We can, absolutely. For me, that's what we were asking. What Paige was asking us about that, and I was just answering my reason.
And I would much rather it's still going to be a toss up whether I put Step Brothers on or Training A-Train. You know,
it's probably going to be more fun watching Step Brothers.
And also, we got a sense of what Will Ferrell and Seth Rogen look like on the Boys universe, but we don't. They're not playing their actual selves, so they're still acting within the show. They're being what the Boys universe is. They're not being
I don't want to spiral into this, but my entire argument is we don't know what that is, though. We have no idea. So our only reference is what they are in our world, and that's not the same as what they are in the Boys world, if that makes sense.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, so for me, Zendaya, that's the issue.
Zendaya is just a safe word. We don't actually see her.
Right.
So we can't confirm what she is in that universe.
Right. Yeah. But I'm just, again, I just want to get back to my issue isn't that they exist. It's that we don't have a point of reference. So we're only thinking of them as we are in our world, which makes them not characters really in the Boys world, but just are people from our world existing in the Boys universe. And that's the issue that I have with it. I don't think that there wouldn't be any or zero. I just don't see how it would make any sense. So yeah. Well, Anthony, yes, technically you would. Yeah, I mean, 100%. So yeah.
I kind of want
So-
Spider-Man to be there, but he just like is street actor.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's Tom Holland.
Yeah, so Defunct, my issue is, and this will be the last thing I say about it because I don't want to keep going. It's just my personal opinion, but every single big major movie that we have that has like stunt people and all of that would be dominated by superheroes, which would be dominated by people with powers, which would leave a very small portion of films for non-supes to be a part of. And so you would not have the same large stars that we have that are doing the things they're doing, because Henry Cavill would not exist as Superman because that role is dedicated to somebody with superpowers. So yes, there would be people existing in the entertainment industry. My argument would be they wouldn't be as large as they are in our world. That would be my argument.
AKA the Victor Stone argument.
Darth Zinn comes up with a good like idea for the boys.
Oh, Tom Cruise or Mel Gibson with superpowers, baby. Cody with a $5 super chat. There's a stigma that Twitter thinks Superman is going to bury the Boys franchise, and I'm sick of it. The Superman movie, the James Gunn movie. Cody,
Ouch.
I don't know why it would. Like, what's the? Has anybody else seen this?
To be honest, people are watching it for different reasons. Like people are watching
Yeah, I don't even
Boys
think they're
'cause it's-
competing.
because
Not
it's
even the
silly
same
and
one.
edgy, and then
Yeah.
they're watching Superman for Superman. So it's
Yeah.
they're two different things. It'd be more like, I don't know, maybe Deadpool and Wolverine, maybe be the better comparison.
Yeah, because of the violence, it's R-rated.
Well, and the
and all that
edgy
stuff, so-
level of it and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the
like
cheeks
the-
out,
Well, and the
Cheeks
satire
out.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
cheeks out. The
Did you see the Xbox controller with that?
with the yes, I saw that. I was like, oh my god, is that real? Is that a real thing? Is that really happening?
Perfect.
I made a comment about that Akon song.
Okay. All right, so Acolyte. Oh, let's talk about that. So
LOL.
I enjoyed the show, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that one, and that's fine. So spoilers for the Acolyte here. So in this final episode, there are 4 things that I kind of wrote down in my notes here. One of them is that the fight scenes were well executed. They were really good. I have no issues about the fight scenes. The May and Osha one was the weakest one out of the ones we saw. But outside of that, I really enjoyed the fight scenes.
I watched episodes 7 and 8 like to refresh my memory. I hate 7 now.
Really?
You hate
What?
episode 7?
Yeah, because it basically from what I saw, it confirmed what I thought May started the fire. That was basically I
But
thought
that's
like,
not
I
what
thought-
killed everybody.
No, I know. What I'm saying is, I thought that she didn't start the fire because people were telling me that that's not what happened.
All right,
like-
Billy Joel.
No one. Okay.
I'm like, May started the fire. Apparently, May did start the fire.
Right. So I think that was the confusion between all of the episodes because they didn't want to tell us in episode 3 who did it. It was implied that it was the Jedi that actually did it because of the fact that even though we saw May playing with the fire, we weren't sure if that was who set the whole place on fire. So it was implied the Jedi did it. So then we come back and we get episode 7 where we get more backstory on all of that. And then we get to episode 8 and we're dealing with some of that still because Saul has yet to reveal everything that happened to Osha. It was a lot. It was a lot.
While you were talking about May and Osha's fight being the weakest, the only criticism I have of the show is during that fight, you could tell that they were CGI.
That's your
Very
only
much.
criticism of the show.
Yeah, right. Is that you could tell they were CGI, and then like when you just seen Starlight fight herself, and that was done very well.
Oh, you mean because it was the same person? It wasn't twins doing
Yeah.
it? Is what you're doing?
Yeah, you can,
I've
you
got
can
a
tell.
pretty decent criticism with May and Osha. How uninteresting can you make 2 characters?
Well, they're actually one character.
I know,
They're one
mate,
person's
I
I have to
love
say,
it. I think
coming
they're
to the
great.
end, do you not think the most logical thing would have been that they just do something where they fuse back to one person?
My theory is that that's what they
Or
were
one
trying
of
to
the
do with that.
dogs.
So, look, my theory is that ceremony was them trying to fuse them together. I think that the cult of witches was going to do it because the song that was cringy as fuck. The song was talking about to become one kind of thing. That was, I think they needed them to both agree because they were gonna say infuse them together back into one. Person.
I wondered the same thing. My only issue with that is why separate them from one consciousness in the first place to put them back together.
Because I think they were originally separated as the light and the dark side. That's what I think it was.
But
I think
they were one consciousness, right? So you split them in two, into light and dark.
Because I think there was some sort of training that they were doing with them that required them to be split in half. That's what I think was going on.
Mm.
And
it wasn't very clear. That episode wasn't very good. Episode 3 wasn't very good.
I found I found basically it started with Osha as a Jedi and May as the villain, and then by the end of the series, it's May as a mind wiped person that I'm going to assume that she's going to be like something relating to Jedi, and Osha the villain.
Well, that was my next note, was that the ending was satisfactory but not spectacular, and I think that's because for as far as May and Osha goes, we literally ended right back up where we started from.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now Kamir is training the other half of her, and the other half of her is back with the Jedi. So it's literally the same spot we were at the beginning, but swapped the two halves.
Yeah, right. But as well, the person that knew everything, right, now knows nothing, and the person that knew nothing now knows everything. Like, it's done very, very well, I would argue.
So you like that aspect of it?
Yeah, I think that's great.
Okay. So my only issue is, now that this has happened, because of the mind wiping, May has no personality anymore.
Well, so it was little to begin with. But...
Well, yes, true. But there was character development between her and Saul that we saw through the course of like 4 episodes that's now gone. She's literally a blank slate. So
right, but when the Jedi actually get a child when they want them, there's zero development there anyway. Like, they indoctrinate them young. So her being in that predicament with the Jedi makes sense.
And the Jedi didn't learn shit. Pardon my language, but they had this thing where the whole premise was not telling the whole entire truth. And what do? Not tell the whole entire truth.
Wait, are you talking about from the witches or the Jedi?
From what happened with May and Osha, that they were supposed to tell to the council, and Soul was supposed to like go in front of the council and tell the truth.
Because he said that in episode 6.
Yeah,
he was going to go do that. Yeah,
and they didn't do that. And then at the end of the finale, Soul obviously died, and they used him as a scapegoat, like they did previously.
But I mean, what's the criticism of that? Like the Jedi. Got you. The Jedi Council, got you. Yeah,
the Jedi didn't learn from their mistake of not telling the truth, the entire truth.
Well, I think the real thing is that Vernestra has been shady since the beginning, and that's kind of how I felt about it, because finding out that Kamir was her Padawan, that she was the one training Kamir or whatever, and then it all lines up with the lashes on his back and stuff like that. I'm assuming in season 2, considering they didn't touch on it at all this season, we'll probably learn more about like what drove him to where he is. So I expect more flashbacks with child actors, most likely. In season 2,
well, I can get the guy that played young Barry Allen in the Flash movie.
Oh yeah,
it's an easy fit.
And are we going to talk about the little tease of who's the real master?
Yeah, we can. We'll talk about all of it. Yeah,
so
like
the thing, like with Leslie Headland, right? Is you can tell that she is a massive fan of like stuff that was brought out like 20 years ago with Knights of the Old Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is a multiple choice game, and if you choose a light side choice, the Jedi attack you because you are a wound in the Force, right? So there are multiple times where the Jedi deem their authority to be right and make the wrong ethical choice.
Yeah.
Which is what David Harewood's character is talking about, right? And I find his choice of wording very interesting because he says, what if one of you went rogue or went bad, right? Dude, there is galactic history of multiple occasions of like force-wielding people creating empires and doing what Palpatine did, just not as big, you know? So, like, he has ground in his argument, you know?
It also feels like the like when you like you said, the light and dark, like the force can like put light and dark in one of the light in one kid and the other dark in the other kid. But when they switched, if you think about it, the light and dark just went like this.
Yeah. It was a balance thing, which is what they've always teased about the Force.
Thought like it was stuck with the one kid.
So apparently Leslie Headland said they were split because Anastasia didn't have enough power to create an entire entity as one organism, and this is what Dalton said, which they didn't explain that in the episode. So
better put in the actual show than in a goddamn interview.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that. I know that sometimes people look at interviews and get triggered by stuff that writers and showrunners say, but that seems like a really important piece of information that if you were willing to reveal it in an interview, then you could have put it in the show. I don't know why.
That needed to be in there. That did need to be in there. Yeah.
There's no time. There's no time limit, so they should have put it in there.
Yeah. I mean, look, some of the episodes were like 25 minutes long, so they could have easily made the episode a little bit longer and put it in there.
Speaking of, quickly, sorry, what needed to be in there? What the hell do you think Kamir saw when Osha started wigging out when she had the helmet on, and then he started having a vision, but still managed to take her helmet off?
Yeah, I don't know. One of my biggest complaints about this season, in regards to that, and everything when it comes to Osha and May, is even though we spent a lot of time with those characters, I don't think we really know much about them. Honestly,
we didn't see her training, Osha's training from a Jedi, and we only saw what the aftermath of her quitting. We didn't actually see.
I mean, it started out. Look, let me put this in perspective for me. It started out really strong. We saw May go in and take out a Jedi Master without a lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
That was extremely impressive. And so, and initially we didn't know these were two, or at least some people knew, but I didn't know that she was two characters. Some people were like, oh, they like screwed up, and some promo came out where it said they were two characters, but I don't remember. Anyway, I didn't know. So when I didn't know that and I was watching, I was like, this is really impressive. And then of course that mystery was there, and they gave us the answer to that pretty early on because they needed to tell us the story in the season. And I praised them for that. I said, this is good pacing because you want the longer mystery to be the one that carries through the entire season, and you want the smaller mysteries to be revealed in each episode, because that's a really good way to do it. Like when you're watching The Flash or Arrow or any of these other shows where they do that kind of stuff. However, I found out as we're going through the show, especially with like episodes 3 and episode 7, that it just feels like they didn't know how to allocate time to characters. We spent 2 episodes with the children versions of May and Osha,
Mama,
who were given much more character-driven moments between each other than we got from either of the other 2 characters. And part of that has to do is the switcheroo that we happened, the Freaky Friday shit, where we had May pretending to be Osha, and Osha not pretending to be May, but being with Kamir or whatever. May couldn't actually be May because May was pretending to be Osha for like 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
What do we really know about these characters, honestly? And Darth, I know you love the show. Give me some insight on, like, what am I missing about these characters that is more interesting than, say, like Vernestra's intentions, or what Saul is doing, or how Kamir got to where he is? What is more interesting about Osha and May than these other characters on the show? Jackie, for example, like these other characters. What? I don't know. I'm struggling to find out in my mind what
solely, like, mainly their creation and their power set and the mystery that lies between them. That's what drives them more than other people, as opposed to interest.
So they're more about style over substance then, basically, because that doesn't, I don't do I really care about, like, what do we know about Osha's
Okay,
life? We got a little bit of it. We got a little bit of it when she was back on the base and she had Pip and all that stuff. We were getting a little bit of it, and that all went away. And then by the time we get to the end of the season, she just flips and goes to the dark side.
That potential was already there, which is why she got drummed out of the academy.
Right.
So it's not like a complete out of nowhere. And she was raised in a dark side cult clan.
Yes, but I would say that her turning on Saul made sense to me because she felt very I don't even know, like, I don't know if it was just like a loyalty thing or whatever, but she trusted Saul. So she felt very upset about that. So I understand why she was so, like, angry with him, right? I don't know why she decided to train with Khmer. Like, what was that? Because the whole time she was with him, it seems like she wasn't vibing. It was like she was ready to pop the balloon. Have you ever seen these shows on YouTube? Pop the balloon or fire?
Yeah.
He was ready to pop the balloon. There was nothing there.
A million percent. Because like the second that she finds out that Darth Plagueis exists and this rule of two that he's been teasing her with is like a fallacy. Yeah. Then she's just gonna pop him off the same way. Like, they are a doomed romance for sure.
Absolutely, 100% doomed. So yeah, they teased Darth Plagueis. We saw that in the cave. A lot of people, like, the reaction was that's fucking awesome or that's desperate. Like,
why? I do have a question.
Awesome.
Why is he hiding in a cave?
The dude hides out a lot.
You would know more than me because
he hides out a lot, right? So it's funny. He's actually, like, if they go with the book that was written about him, he's actually like 35 years off, like a massive accident that leaves him bedridden. So him hiding out in the shadows is actually quite the norm for him anyway, because that's how they need to exist. Because he's a very powerful being, and if he gets spotted as, there's just a dark Jedi over there, alarms are going to be raised, and then everybody's going to come swarming. They're not allowed to exist.
I don't know enough about him to have an opinion about it. I really, honestly, when I saw that character, I was like, okay, I'm curious to see what he's going to do. But then he just kind of was hiding the whole time.
Went back to being the Pied Piper. Yeah, like, I don't. Why? The thing I don't get is that, can you have three at all? Like, doesn't one have to die for then to someone to come in and be the two? So how's that going to work? Does that mean, like, early into a hypothetical season 2, which I don't know is going to happen, does there have to be like some fight between either Khmer and whatever the girl's version is? Is it Osha or May? Who's with him?
It's Osha.
Osha.
The thing is,
does he die? Does Plagueis die?
The thing is, even George Lucas ruined.
Well, it can't be Plagueis because isn't he Palpatine's master?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So this is my point.
Means both of the other tools have to die.
There's like, even during episodes 1, 2, 3. There are Palpatine, Dooku, Darth Maul. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's multiple apprentices at a time that overlap.
So Darth Zen said Sidious had Maul when he was still serving Plagueis. These guys cheated the rule the whole time.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So it's like
they're evil. They don't follow the
rules.
Yeah.
So it's more of a suggestion.
So Osha May are only really interesting if you're a hardcore Star Wars fan who's into the inner workings of the Force, partly why Darth Plagueis is so beloved.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
No,
so this is why. Okay. So they're taking steps, right? So Andor, right? No, wait. Rogue One. Sorry. Rogue One was created to
my favorite modern Star Wars movie, Rogue One. Okay, go ahead.
That was made to retcon how the Death Star plans got from A to B. Right, creation to Leia, right? Instead of having like 15 different projects involved of how it was made, including games, right? There's a book that was made Legends by Disney, right? So now they're taking elements from that book, the Darth Plagueis book, and they're making it canon, and that's phenomenal because it's a beloved book. Okay, just because they're picking and choosing and not taking the whole book, people might be sitting there creating a stink about it, right? But in that book, the way that Darth Sidious and Darth Plagueis find out about Immaculate Conception is through the grapevine, right? But now Darth Plagueis has first-hand knowledge of how that can happen, of which Darth Sidious will then be given that information. Number 2, in that book, Darth Sidious and Darth Plagueis bend the Force to their will, right? The dark side to their will, and the Force acquiesces their request. That is the quote, right? At which point, the Force creates Anakin as recompense for that action, right? So now we have a place in canon that can happen. The Vergence planet.
Because of the
Brenda.
Introduction of him in the show, right? Is that what you're saying?
And him being like knowledge of May and Brendok will give him the place, the location to do all of that, which sets up the stuff with George Lucas done. So it just reinforces and bolsters the stuff that's come before.
Fedman says, I'm still confused why the hell Basil was doing in Saul's cockpit before running off. What was the point of that? When the ship got sabotaged and they had to like land it or whatever when it was in the rings of the planet.
Remember when Basil was about to shoot a ship.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like that character showed up everywhere. So let's see. So we had the bleeding of the Kyber crystal in the lightsaber. So I saw a lot of people freaking out about that, even though apparently it's been a thing since.
Well, at first I thought this shit doesn't make any sense, but then I read somewhere online that Disney introduced it, so that's why it didn't happen in previous movies. That's why it didn't happen to like Anakin in the other movie, because
originally
Disney introduced it.
Yeah, because originally they were just synthetically made, right? So you had blue, green, yellow, and purple naturally occurring crystals, and red was synthetically made. So they just didn't want to do that anymore.
I kind of like wished it happened in episode 3.
That's what I was saying. It was like that's why I was confused. Then I read somewhere that no, Disney brought it in. I think they did it in a comic book first or something.
Yeah. Now that I've seen it happen from Disney.
It also happened in a game in 2023, right? Wasn't there a game that came out that did
but I think the comic was like 10 years ago or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Darth Vader comic, it was sick.
But I kind of like wanted it to happen to Anakin now.
Oh, yeah. So,
can you imagine a sword fight that Anakin was red and Obi-Wan was blue? That would have been more exciting.
Yeah, it's I think isn't that A New Hope? Isn't that the first one?
Yeah.
Say you just had Obi-Wan Kenobi last year or whatever. It's in that.
No. That was Mufasa versus Obi-Wan.
Also, I have to give a shout out to Saul for really wrecking Kamir's entire existence in that battle. Like it was, oh my god! I felt like that was all in defense of all of his Padawans and the knights and stuff that died during that battle, where he was getting revenge basically for all of that. Because when he did the thing where he was throwing the saber and the dagger at him and it was like spinning around, and then Saul literally just deflected all of that and deflected Kamir or whatever. I thought that was a great scene. That whole fight scene was really good to me. I loved
did you get the I think it applied to Osha still that she defeated a Jedi without using a weapon.
Yeah.
She basically choked him to death.
Yeah. So with all that being said, what do we think about the way they handled the cover-up with Vernestra and the Jedi Council?
I hated it. They didn't learn. I was like saying like they didn't learn anything from the previous. Like a cover-up that was exposed and you saw the outcome. So don't cover up anymore.
Yeah, I will say I'm glad they addressed it, because a lot of people were wondering how the prequels didn't know about what went down, and now we know why, because Vernestra basically covered all of it up and threw Saul under the bus on this one. So what do you think, especially you, Darth Bunyan, because you obviously know a lot more about Star Wars, but what do you think the whole deal with Vernestra is? What do you think the situation is with that? Do you think that she's going to run away? Do you think she's going to get killed off? How do you think that's going to be addressed? Because this character isn't part of the modern or the newer Star Wars movies.
No.
Anything like that. So
no. I don't know. I feel like they like to hide their shame because they hold themselves in such pious and high esteem.
Mhm.
So I think there's a chance that she might be arrested. She might be made the scapegoat, or I think death might be the other option, to be honest, because it's just that's the problem with the Jedi is once they have like a high level of power, it corrupts, but not in a way that they expect. They don't sit there craving the dark side. They just crave to keep their position, you know. So they sit there and act shady to keep their position and stuff. It's just it's very in character, honestly.
I was extremely disappointed that we only saw like one scene with her lightsaber whip.
Oh yeah. I
Weird.
think they did that because she's going to probably get a lot of screen time next season. If they get a season 2, do you think they're going to get a season 2?
No,
they need to. I read somewhere that it's one of the
why I don't
highest
think they need
Disney
to?
Plus shows.
I actually think the show is tied off.
What do you mean?
I think it actually ties itself off while also setting up a season 2.
Yeah.
I don't think it actually needs a season 2. It's more of like
sounds like good writing.
No, well, it's more. I actually think overall the show was tied up fairly well. Like I think all the questions for the most part that they posed were wrapped up. At least the ones leading into the finale.
And they started what they left off. Basically, they started with OSHA, and now
but that's the thing because the thing is, not much happened. Like not much happened. Like it was a pretty.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it was a pretty basic thing, and it fucking stresses what we were talking about like 4 weeks ago. This is 100%. No one will be able to debate me or like try and turn me away from this. It was clearly pitched as a movie. It was clearly pitched as a 2-hour movie, and it would have worked so much better as a movie because you would have taken out all that crap. Those flashback things, we wasted about an hour with flashbacks, would have been condensed to about 10 minutes of a movie.
Yeah.
And let alone that witch episode, once again, would have been like lucky if you're 10 minutes of a movie.
Do you think that, so with that being said, Paige, do you think these characters will just come back in some other way, like in another like property or something like that? Do you think we'll see them again?
I don't know if you'd get any like major focus on them if they're gonna, if there's not a season 2. If they're like in a season 2, well then obviously yes. In anything else, maybe referenced, or maybe like if you're in that time period, I guess, then you might have them show up. But then again, like I think the only interesting character that's lingering is Camille.
Yeah. So I think OSHA's interesting.
No, they're fucking shit. They're like they are fucking like I'm sorry, they did nothing. Like they so shit. Like Camille's the only one that's interesting, and I don't think they like. But then again, I don't like the green woman. And actually, I was wondering why is her acting? I was wondering she's such a shit actress. I was watching this. I looked it up. She's Leslie Headland's wife.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I was like, how did they put someone who's
she's been getting a lot of flack for that.
I'm watching like she's not very good like at acting, and I'm like, I looked it up and I'm like, okay, because obviously she's got makeup on and stuff. So I was like, have I seen her anything else? Because obviously another role, she's not walking around as a green alien. Clicked it, and then in the little thing on Google on the right hand side, it said, I think it might have said spouse or partner, Leslie Headland. And I'm like, oh, well, that fucking explains it, doesn't it?
It's pretty wild. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Overall, though, look, I thought there were a lot of great moments in the show, but I was very honest about the stuff that I thought was not good.
It's literally, I would define it as the most. I think I might have said it when we were watching like the first 2 episodes, and I said it reminded me of Batwoman. Still reminds me of Batwoman because Batwoman to me, or season 1, because Batwoman season 1 is the most average thing I've ever watched. This is the Star Wars version of it, where like half of it is like pretty interesting and like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen here, and then half of it is arse, like straight arse. And I'm wondering, like, I think that because I do wonder if there was a mandate with this because it's 8 episodes. What were what was Ahsoka? What was Obi-Wan? What were their episode counts?
I want 6. Yeah, I think it was 6.
Both of them were 6.
Everyone
I
was
do
6,
wonder if that
yeah.
had a 6. If this had a 6-episode one, whether it'd be more condensed. You'd still get a hint of arse. So someone's like farted in an elevator, but you're getting off at an elevator. Like you're not going to the top floor with that fart. Like you're going off like floor 4 or something like that. I just wonder if it just had less episodes.
I felt very unsatisfied at the end of it. Like there were so many things that I was like, I wish we had answers for that they just didn't answer. We did get the Yoda thing at the end, the little Yoda cameo.
Right. I will say let them cook, right? Because after Rogue One, we got Andor and we're getting a second season of that. So like there's projects to come off of like quote unquote retcons, right? So like they've cooked the base here, they've made a foundation, let them see what they
I don't know if they
season 2.
They might have like chucked something in the microwave. Like that might be what they did. I don't
Oh,
know.
Ahsoka was 8. Yeah, now that I'm thinking back, Ahsoka was 8.
I was going to say
6.
Ahsoka. I felt like because I don't even know if I finished that thing. It went for so long. I finished Kenobi though. I'm just wondering, like it just needs. Even then, Kenobi felt like 2 episodes too long as well because that was clearly a movie idea.
Yeah.
As well.
Well, actually, the funny thing about Kenobi was I think somebody on YouTube made a 2-hour version of it.
I'm just wondering though
They cut it
because
down
this
to 2
was
hours.
what was the thing? It was 180 million to make all these episodes. Why not make a movie? It would have made the money back, surely. Especially
Yeah, it's very confusing why they went the direction they went with.
I
it, to be
really
honest.
hate 6, 8, and arguably the short season should be 10.
I think
Well, no,
they
you're
should-
gonna, no. If you're going to be a limited series, be 6 to 8.
Yeah,
Be 6 to 8, but contain the
yeah.
entire thing. If you're going to be a show, that's going to be build it up. You know,
And
make
also-
it more grand.
And also, if you're doing a show, make it look like a show, not a movie.
Well, I think today with the premium stuff, I mean, like Stranger Things looks like a movie. I'm fine with that being a show and stuff like that. But it's more like just plan it out in a more serialized way because
Like Superman and Lois for me was a TV show, short season. You know, like it was a.
It's
TV
going to be
show.
so painful this upcoming season with Superman and Lois being.
I was right, by the way.
what?
Oh, the death of Superman.
Oh yeah, the poster.
Didn't everyone?
Yeah.
Sorry.
so-
Everyone was like saying they can't do that with what they're going to do. Like,
Oh, I don't think he's going to die.
yeah, obviously that's.
Yeah, it's going to be the where the fuck is
Have you
Superman? No.
read Superman before?
Oh,
Oh,
I'm fired.
The death of Superman. He comes back.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought it was a different dude. that showed up.
Yeah.
My
thanks,
bad.
mate.
All right. So actually, before we watch this trailer, I'm going to throw out my score for Acolyte. I enjoyed a lot
As
of
a
the
whole or
season,
the finale?
the whole series. So for me, because the finale, I already gave my score on that. I felt the finale was underwhelming. Kind of.
What'd you give it?
I think I gave it like a 7. I think it was a 7 out of 10.
Ooh,
something like that.
interesting.
Maybe
Okay.
an 8 out of 10. It was either 7 or 8.
I'm giving mine a 5 out of 10.
Okay, can I just ask, right? Is everybody
Yeah.
just bummed out because they had like a whole bunch of red shirts just running up at the end that just didn't die and in a bit spectacular fight that they were setting up?
No.
What?
Oh, you mean when they arrived, when Vanessa arrived and everything?
Yeah.
Is that what-
Yeah, because there was like a whole fight that could have just really
I
easily
just
just
don't
kept everybody happy.
like the way the show was wrapped up. Period. I didn't like I felt this episode was it was paced incorrectly, which has pretty much been my biggest complaint about the whole season. The look, fight scenes beautiful, costuming beautiful. Storyline had some really good elements to it. I think they picked the right actors for most of the roles. The weaker
Not
parts
bad.
were the child actors. I think the episodes were put in the wrong order. I think the pacing was off. And I think that May and Osha didn't get enough time cooking in the season.
3 and 7 should have been like
So-
one episode. For me.
No, well, that
Yeah.
or they're closer together. Like they could have been 3 and 5, but 3
Yeah.
and 7 was ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
being so
Yeah, but
far
then
away.
you would have stretched out OSHA not knowing about Soul for too long. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's their
you'd-
fault for stretching out
You'd
the
have been
show.
too tropey. You know,
That's their
like-
fault for stretching out the show.
Mm. I would probably give the whole show, like the whole season, probably a 7 out of 10.
I'd 7, 7.5 if I
I'm
was.
sticking with 5
lenient.
out of 10.
I think
Yeah, I
five's
mean-
harsh, but I don't
5
know,
is
like,
look. 5 is like he's really giving it to him with a 5 out of 10. I have no issue with that at all.
10 out of 10.
I'm like,
Change it, Dave.
I basically liked half of it.
Oh,
Wouldn't change a thing. 10 out of 10.
What did you give it, Dorothy?
10 out of 10, whole way.
A 10 out of 10?
You're
Yeah,
not. You're very biased. You're very.
Wouldn't change a thing. It hit all the right notes for me.
Well, I think Darth falls into that thing where it's sort of to count. Like I think if everyone was like sort of on the same plane and like was just having a fair discussion, then Darth might bring it down to an 8. But I think the issue is that we're seeing it. And I agree if that's where Darth wants to go. Is that people are
No, I'm not
just to hate on.
Not going to twist his arm or anything like that.
Like people are saying it's like the worst thing ever, or it's a 3 out of 10.
No, it's not the worst thing ever. Look,
I'm not saying you're saying that, but obviously people online are saying that.
My least favorite Star Wars show across the board is Book of Boba Fett. I literally hate that show.
Yes,
I hate that one.
I
will never watch that one again.
The second one is Andor, but that's for
Andor is a murder mystery type show.
That's on my watch list. I think it's probably the next thing I'm gonna watch.
Get ready to drink a lot of caffeine. You're gonna need a lot of caffeine for the first 2 or 3 episodes.
I know that it's like I know it's a slow burn. It's almost like I need to turn this shit off in the first episode or 2, but like it's worth like sticking around.
The most for me is like I don't like Andor. Like the character that was portrayed in Rogue One wasn't interesting. The female was. Female was more interesting than him.
I just finished Boba in late as hell, and it wasn't terrible, but I saw the issues you had with it. Look, it's really tough for me, Gwendolyn, because I really loved the episodes with the Mandalorian. Like I thought those were really good, but then I pretty much hated all the other episodes.
The Mandalorian episodes, because it's just. I remember. I think we might have even talked about it.
There's 2 episodes of it, and they're basically just Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah, it's because what was happening at that time? Was it Pedro Pascal was filming Last of Us? Was that it?
Something like that. Yeah,
it was something like that, and they clearly needed to fill in a gap that they originally had. Mandalorian season 3 was meant to be there.
What's funny is the actor that plays Boba Fett actually took to an interview and said, "I want to appear in your season so I can overshadow you."
About it.
So I can overshadow you.
The lowest rated episodes of the season would be his episodes, I'm sure. So we're gonna watch this trailer. I'm really excited about this. This is the latest trailer for Alien Romulus, which comes out in August. I am so ready for this movie. It is probably going to get removed because that's what YouTube does. So if you want to watch this and you're here now and you want to come back and watch it later, or you're watching this on playback, you got like a day before YouTube tells me to remove it. And then we're going to talk about the Warner Brothers news because it's absolutely hilarious. Anyway, so here is the trailer for. But before we watch this, is anybody else a huge fan of like this universe? I love the Alien universe. So, anybody else?
Alien and Predator, yeah.
I don't really care too much. I don't mind the first Predator. With Arne, but I prefer Alien. I remember I saw Aliens for the first time, and there's this thing called Moonlight Cinemas that they do here, and shat myself.
Okay. So I've seen 2 trailers for this already. This to me is probably one of the most frightening things I've seen in a while. This genuinely freaks me out. So I can't wait to see what this trailer has in it. So here we go. This is not the Joe Blow trailer, I don't think. So
thank God.
This is on Twitter, which could be just as bad. So let's see. Here you go.
Are you sure you want to do this? There she is.
Actually, quickly, can you pause this?
Still highly regulated.
If I see, this only reminds me because I just saw them float into space. If I see anyone from this point forward do a Superman edit with that Starman David Bowie song, I'm going to tear fiber optic cables up from the bottom of the ocean and destroy the internet.
Oh my God.
I am sick of seeing them. If that's in the movie, I might walk out. Anyway, continue.
Okay. I was just looking. The director for this did Evil Dead. I didn't know that.
Is it Fede Ramirez?
Alvarez.
Yeah,
but he did the 2013 Evil Dead.
That's one of the best horror movies ever.
He did Don't Breathe. So what else did we do here? Oh, he did the 2022 Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Wasn't that Ass?
I don't know. He wasn't the director of that. He was the producer for it.
Oh, thank God, because I'm pretty sure it was shit.
Yeah. All right. Pretty exciting stuff here. All right, let's continue.
You got to press play.
Equipment.
Yeah.
This could be our only ticket out of here. Should be in and out in 30 minutes.
I'm going to say this, whenever a movie, you have a character that goes, this should only take an hour. It's never going to take an hour. It's either going to be like death immediately or they're going to be stuck there for the rest of their life. It's one of those.
An hour and 40 minutes, actually.
Right.
Welcome to the Romulus Space Station.
This place gives me the creeps. What the hell is this?
I don't know.
I guess I didn't have to look that stuff up because it just told us again that he was the director of Evil Dead. No,
Yeah. Thanks, Wes.
pretty funny. Oh, gross. Oh my God.
The fuck was that? Yo!
Stop playing around, man. Just get out.
I'm not playing around. There's something in the water.
I always think it's funny when like something traumatic is happening and the first thing that the other team members like, stop fucking around, stop playing games or whatever. Like it's always that. They always think it's horseplay every single time.
What do you mean there's something in
I
the
don't know.
water?
There's just something in the fucking water.
Oh my God. They're jumping. Oh, gross.
Run.
Oh my God. The facehuggers are vicious.
No.
This episode of
Oh.
Red Tube.
Are you alright?
Oh my God. Oh!
Wow. Wow.
Tomorrow.
Wow.
I don't know what to do.
God. Damn it. Oh my God.
I gotta take a breath for a second.
Oh
this
my
movie is
God.
going to be fucking
Oh
insane.
my God. Well,
This
prepare
movie-
to see the best movie ever of Alien.
This looks crazy to me. Look, I've loved a lot of the Alien stuff, and the Alien versus Predator shit has been kind of whack, but this looks ridiculously good. It reminds me of the Alien video game that came out like 4 or 5 years ago. Alien Isolation, I think was the name of it.
No, it was longer ago. That was
Space Marines?
I
Space
played.
Marines, maybe that one. That's the one.
No, there's another one. Was that Space Marines? I remember playing one. It was scary as shit.
Oh my God! Like it's just a
And
holy
you can put in
shit.
this multiplayer where one team was Predators and one team was Marines.
Oh,
yeah,
that'd
yeah,
be
I
nice.
remember that. Yeah, that was
Either.
good.
It was so OP being the Predator.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah.
Oh my God! Let's.
I
try to-
I downloaded it the other day and nobody's on there.
Well,
Nobody's
that's
on it.
surprise.
Nobody's playing it.
Yeah, nobody's playing it.
All right.
Whatever comes, we'll face it together.
Let's go.
Impact event in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh my!
One of the actresses
my God.
looks familiar.
Don't get too attached to any of these characters. I can tell you right now. Like 98% of them are probably going to get killed off.
Yeah,
Maybe-
it shows in the trailer.
Yeah. Like I'm just saying. Like
Well,
don't
the
get too
entire
attached to
thing,
these.
the entire space station gets blown up to kill everything within it.
Yeah. Holy
You can-
shit! I am 100% on board for this one. This looks so good to me.
I expect nothing less from the guy from Evil Dead because he did such a phenomenal job of that I would have had such a high bar anyway, and seeing that trailer that has just risen it so high. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think we're on par for the best alien movie ever.
So while I'm looking for the article about WB, what are your thoughts on the Halo Paramount show getting canceled after 2 seasons? What do you think about that?
Didn't watch it, so heard it was ass. Well, I heard what didn't I heard? I think wasn't it that season 2 was done better, but season
season
it still
2
wasn't
was done
great.
better. Season 1 as someone who doesn't play Halo and doesn't like the lore or know about the lore, I thought it was a TV show. It was interesting, good TV show. But there's people that hate it because it doesn't follow the actual lore and stuff like that. So,
all right. So before we get into the article about WB, it says from Anonymous here at 199, make a Star Wars theory and Bunyan debate stream. Would you want to debate Star Wars theory? Because it's a hot topic with him right now.
I know.
He's on the light side to the dark side, apparently. So
did you see his clip of him going, "That's not Plagueis," just randomly screaming it out?
Honestly, I've just seen that he's very controversial at the moment because he's very gatekeepery, supposedly.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But honestly, it's Disney's sandbox now. They've picked and choose, and they're changing some people's date of birth, and it's fine.
You could literally put a bookmark in the end of the movies that you like, and wait till Disney sells it off if they ever do, and then start watching it again. I mean, you can do that literally. There's a lot of things that I don't like the continuation of them, and I think they're shit, and I stop watching them. It's just the way it is.
But,
go ahead, Paige.
Just quickly on the Star Wars thing, I was actually thinking of this in that prime. I think it was probably just after episode 3, and they dropped that turd, the Acolyte one with the chanting. Do you think it's hard for them now? But do you think in a perfect world, if say they had nothing really in development, do you think it'd be a perfect world for Star Wars to just take a break for a couple of years, a few years, and just pretty much almost bleed out?
I mean, to be fair, if you're not
negativity.
watching the shows, it's been a really long time since the last Star Wars movie.
Well, was it 2018? Was it just before COVID or something?
I've given the best possible argument, which is something they're doing, and it's taking a break from the Skywalker saga, right? That's 50 to 100 years that they just don't need to deal with anymore. It's done. Just stick to the old Republic. They're going back several thousand years.
But I think at the end of the day, with this stuff, it's still connecting to that the prequel stuff. And I think that obviously that's trying to jump into the nostalgia for people that are 25 to 35 now that grew up with it. And it's I watched that when I was 10 years old or whatever. I'm in that age group. I grew up watching those prequel movies and stuff like that. But I'm just wondering, what I feel nothing they do,
that's
Oh,
a
they can win. Even if it's mid, people say it's awful, or if it's good, people say it's mid. I don't know if they can.
It's just been a minute since we've had a movie, and I feel they need to figure something out. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think they need to jump to a time period where no one has any connection to. There's no books. They're literally making
or another part of the Star Wars galaxy that doesn't connect with anything that has to do with any of these characters. A completely isolated story.
I think they opened it up with what's his name? Ezra Bridgers. I think they opened up a part of the galaxy that hasn't been.
Okay, I know we're not talking about that, but 3W, you bring up a really good point. In the Ahsoka series, I was really excited about seeing another place where the stuff we know was never a thing, like Jedi and witches existing in a universe where none of the technology that we've ever seen on Star Wars is there. And then we go on a planet where there's nothing. And I was like, the fuck? There's nothing here.
I don't know. I think if they're going to do something like that, I think they need to distance themselves from anything that's existed, especially in the main media, like a movie in particular. So don't do anything that's connected to the movies. But I think you still have to include the Jedi and the Sith and stuff like that, because
at the end of the day, but put them in a different place. Something that doesn't
that's what I mean.
Anything
I don't know,
with the main story.
But I don't know if you do it where it's this distant part of the I think different time period. I think that's the main thing. I don't think it should be it's in a whoop whoop. It needs to be 500 years in the future from anything we've ever touched.
Yeah. No. See what they're doing. what they're doing, they're doing exactly what you said, but they're going in the past, right? So they're doing the Dawn of the Jedi. So what they did with the Acolyte, right, is it was a small stepping stone in that direction while filling in like a bunch of plot holes, right, to the story. And then the next step, from what I've seen after the Skeleton Crew, is the Dawn of the Jedi in a trilogy movie thing.
Fuck, that's the show. I was trying to think. There's a show coming out. I thought it was Andor season 2. It's that Skeleton Crew with the kids, isn't it?
Mm.
When's that meant to be set?
Which is basically a
9 ABY. So it's after.
It's after the Purge. It's the after Purge. It's
after 4.
After Order 66. Like
yeah,
it
after
happens
4.
After
4.
So it's
not 20. Are you saying 4 or fall?
4.
Fall?
Like the number 4, or I fell off a cliff fall?
The number 4.
Because both of them make sense, because the fall of the Jedi happened on 4.
All right. So we had a member chat here from South Texas Shark who says there's an Alien audiobook which was really good. I haven't heard that, or I haven't read it, I guess, or listened to it. So I'll probably check it out. Do you know what is it the only one? Is there a title? I'd love to know the title so I could check it out. Okay, so I'm going to read this bit of news about Warner Brothers. Now, David Zaslav has been touting off for a while now about how much profit they've been making and all this other stuff. But we've seen that they have been canceling the exclusives from Max, the home of HBO, and making them HBO-only series. And the most latest ones were the Green Lantern show. What else is it? The Dune series, Dune Prophecy, I think is the name of it. Penguin. And they've pretty much gotten rid of all of their all of their originals. So it says here, Warner Brothers has discussed a dramatic plan to split its digital streaming and studio businesses from its legacy television networks as the U.S. media giant behind CNN and HBO weighs options for boosting its sagging share price. So all of that I guess mitigation they've done is kind of starting to fade off. It says people familiar with the matter said Chief Executive David Zaslav was examining several strategic options ranging from selling assets to hiving off its Warner Brothers movie studio and Max streaming service to a new company unburdened by most of the group's $39 billion net debt load. So they are still $39 billion in debt.
How?
I mean, one way they can make a $39 billion back is sell Zack Snyder's Justice League for $39 billion.
I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy to me. So basically what they're talking about is selling things that they have. When they say assets, most likely they're talking about intellectual property, things that they know that people want. And when it says hiving off Warner Brothers movie studio and Max streaming service to a new company, they're talking about basically giving portions of that away to, like, say, Netflix or something along those lines for things that they want to film, properties they might want, things like that, to try and alleviate that massive amount of debt they have.
So they can actually sell characters for them to use, like,
yes,
basically. Okay, so they can. This is going to strike the ever-ending hashtag sell the Snyderverse.
I mean, well, the thing is, they I don't think they would sell the Snyderverse, but they could certainly sell DC to Netflix if they wanted to.
Oh
and
God.
I don't know what that would look like for James Gunn.
I'm telling you, James Gunn be sitting there going, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, no, absolutely.
They
could.
It's actually
they
not
definitely
for the,
could.
It's not for the whole big picture either. I think it's specifically for his TV shows that he wants to put in his universe. Because if they're all going to go to HBO, Casey Bloys, the guy that runs HBO, is going to be sitting there going, "Well, hold on, half of our content isn't going to be DC shows. We're not going to do that. It still has to be HBO." And that means the shows are going to be, if they're all going to go to HBO, that means they're all going to be spread out more, and it's going to make his universe go slower. I think it might affect it.
And
I don't think it's going to affect the movies really, because unless the movies start to flop or something. But
I feel like this would be the biggest slap in the face of James Gunn. Like, basically, Zaslav says one thing and then deletes his entire universe.
No, I don't think he does that. I think, you know what I could see happening, though? Some TV shows get reimagined and they just become movies. If it's like, well, we can only allow X amount of things to be on HBO per calendar year. Let's say it's 2. Let's say you're only allowed 2 DC shows. Well,
So, are they
per calendar
bankrupt?
year, like,
If they're $39 billion in debt, are they bankrupt?
no, they just didn't.
No.
They've
That's
still
just
got
the debt they
assets.
have. Yeah.
That's their
I mean,
fun, but they've got assets. They could sell their assets, and then they're
right.
in the
That's
positive.
what they're thinking about doing is selling off assets, and so
39 assets to everywhere.
Well, it goes on further here. It says Warner Brothers Discovery, whose market capitalization has fallen by a third to about $20 billion in the past year, has yet to hire an investment bank to initiate any specific transactions. But its top management has been talking to advisors to find out a solution in shareholders' best interest. People briefed on the matter said. So now they're finally people are coming in and going, "Where's our money? Like, you've been in charge of this company now for a while. We were promised to get some return on our investment."
What would
Not
your
seeing
reaction
any-
be if Zaslav was somehow running a Ponzi scheme
Oh my god!
under
Oh
the
my
Warner
God.
Brothers Discovery banner? That'd be a fucking meme.
It says here Warner Brothers' biggest backers include cable billionaire John Malone and the Newhouse family, which controls Condé Nast. People close to WBD have also informally approached advisors to rival media groups to understand if they would be interested in exploring M&A options with some of its existing assets. Let's see. Warner Brothers Discovery reportedly considered earlier combinations of both Comcast, NBC Universal, and Paramount, which has since agreed to sell itself David Ellison's Skydance studio. Both have legacy television assets and subscale streaming platforms. That has to do with Paramount and Skydance. That's another business thing altogether. We won't talk about that. But WBD declined to comment. People familiar with the matter said WBD could still ultimately decide to continue operating as its current structure. However, a breakup appears to be the strongest option. Most of its debt could remain in the mature pay TV network business, such as the scenario, but could help the faster growing streaming spinoff achieve a higher value multiplier. But one person familiar with the matter said WBD's management was aware of the risk crossing creditors and doesn't seem to care one way or the other. Bank of America warned that a split could have a potentially devastating impact on bondholders. And WBD rival Lionsgate recently faced a creditor revolt after separating Star TV's network to a pay TV service. A person involved in the discussions noted that WBD's debt was raised by a lenient environment with a few covenants providing such financial engineering. I mean, it's a lot here. I'm not going to read all of it, but what they're saying is they're fucked and they need to make a decision.
And
About what
Batgirl
they're
was
gonna do.
pointless. Batgirl write-off was pointless.
All of the write-offs were pointless. They were band-aids.
Yeah.
They were band-aids on the bigger problem. And so, yeah, who knows what's going to happen, but I can say this. HBO Max, or Max, the home of HBO, is pretty much done. I suspect it won't be around much longer. At least not the way we know
I'm
it.
telling you, like, I know we've talked about it for a while and stuff, and it seems to come up in conversation more often than you'd want. But the downward trajectory since every man and their dog wanted to make a streaming service is crazy. Have you seen the latest stats in regards to the amount of productions? 40% down.
Yeah,
40% down, 20% worldwide.
Yeah, and they said
40% is within America. So in like
yes,
the
in
American
Hollywood
companies. Yeah.
Mostly in specific productions because reality TV doesn't seem to be affected by it. So
it's the same as Bitcoin and everything, isn't it? Everybody like heard big numbers from one or two companies and didn't want to miss out, so everybody jumped in and
really
everybody
funny.
thought I can do it too.
Yeah, so streaming, so they basically cut off their own. They cut off money for short term. So movies were the big boom for Hollywood. They made most of their money off of these big budget movies, and then they said, "Oh, Netflix is doing streaming. Streaming is doing really well." And then they went all in on streaming and destroyed the movie industry in the process of doing that. They did this to themselves.
Well, don't know
And
that
so-
they killed network TV. Like it was like a double kill. Collateral.
Big problem. Yeah. So this is the other thing, Quindle. I just saw this today. Peacock is raising prices. So I watch almost nothing on Peacock. So that means that's out. Boom, gone.
Except for
Bye.
the Katy Perry song.
Yeah. Peacock got rid of a couple of shows that I like. Now they're on Netflix. So I don't even need Peacock anymore. So Peacock is out. Don't give a fuck. Goodbye, Peacock. And And Netflix, the only thing Netflix has right now, because they actually announced that they made a bunch of money. I think they had a 23% increase in subscribers and revenue over the last 6 months. The best thing they ever did was take away like password sharing, because that's really helped them. It's not good for consumers, but it helped their business. And so this is why all the other streaming services, they think that they have that same market value as Netflix, and they don't.
No.
The only one that maybe does is Disney Plus. Outside of that, none of them do. HBO Max could have if it stayed HBO Max, but they pretty much fucked themselves over by getting rid of everything on there that people give a fuck about. So
Amazon's doing well, but not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Amazon's thing is just like almost like a subsidiary, like in regards, it's just like it's just like, oh, here's this extra thing. It's like,
and they're charging extra for people to watch without ads, so they're making extra money off of that. Whereas same thing with Apple TV. Apple TV is supported by Apple. It doesn't really matter. Like
I will say,
also Apple's like just so rich, it doesn't really matter if they make some losses off their streaming service.
Yeah.
I will say that if you have ad blocker on your browser, Netflix is ad block free, even if you're at the lowest one.
Really?
Yeah, but who watches Netflix on the computer?
Yeah,
I do, because it's no ads.
So somebody talked about the concept art for Brainiac for My Adventures with Superman. I found these online. So this was some of the concept art for what that character was going to look like.
I'm happy they went with what they chose.
So this is one of them. This was another one here. Or actually, it looks like 3 different variants on this one.
I still don't like what they went with, though.
Here's the one they ended up going with, I believe. This right here, A. I think that's the one that we ended up seeing. Here's the other ones here. Look at F. What the fuck is that?
You know what, Eric? Just a side thing. I watched A Bug's Life the other day, or not the other, like a week ago, and you remind me of the ladybug.
What?
Ooh.
Type up Bug's Life.
Okay.
Ladybug.
I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. I can totally see it. Wow. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me see. We found a good picture here. We'll let the chat
just from memory. Just from memory. Just from memory.
Is anyone backing me with this one? I think this looks like Eric quite a lot.
I'm trying to see a good picture of it. Why is it hard to find a good picture of it? I guess we'll go. You talking about Francis?
Is that his name?
I don't know. That's what it says here.
That's amazing because the whole time, like, it's a ladybug, but it's a it's a guy, and that's great. That's awesome.
I mean, there's male ladybugs.
No, I know, but I'm just saying the fact that it's called Francis is a great.
Being a bit sexist, are we? Just kidding.
There's not good pictures of it. All the pictures are grainy. When did Bug's Life come out?
98 or something.
90 something.
2002.
All right, I'll use this picture here. It's not great, but
98.
Oh, 4 years old. Go down.
You were a shrimp.
Are you 29, Darth Bunyan?
No, he's like 36.
No.
I was going to say, you look like you're in your mid-30s. Jesus Christ, I was going to say, like...
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Compliment. You look great. That's always a compliment. Eric looks 74.
There's what he says I look like.
Who you calling me? Does anyone else see it? I see it. I think it's...
See, I was thinking about when he's lounging back in the chair with his leg up. Like,
yeah, that's a bit weird though, because there's all these like kids around him. It's a bit pedophilic, to be completely honest. So.
Yeah.
No, it's just getting him to get drinks. Nothing out of the ordinary.
I have to go back and watch that movie.
Good movie. It's a good one.
Yeah.
It doesn't age well because Kevin Spacey's the villain, but
really?
Didn't realize I was watching. I was like, who's that voice? It sounds super familiar. Looked it up. Kevin Spacey.
Oh,
he was crying about being broke.
Twins.
Like he was on the news, like, "Oh, I have no money." Hoo-hoo-hoo.
I didn't see that. I haven't really seen much of him anyway. Like I haven't kept up with it. But
hey, speaking of bugs, want to watch the Beetlejuice trailer?
Yeah, let's watch that.
See, Eric,
We'll
everyone's
watch
in
that when we wrap it
agreement.
up.
It's like you look like twins.
Yeah, I see that.
Is that its name? Francis.
I'm loving
Francis the Ladybug. What a stupid name for a ladybug.
Let's see. Oh, there's one from Joe Blow here.
Oh, fuck, Joe Blow.
Actually, it's also on Nerdist. I think it's the same one.
Yeah, Dennis Leary, aka Gwen Stacy's father from The Amazing Spider-Man, voiced the ladybug.
Mm-hmm.
Should we do Joe Blow trailers or Nerdist trailers? I don't know which one should we do.
What'd you say? Who rage quit?
I don't know. I didn't say anything. Oh.
What'd you say?
I don't know. I typed YouTube, then clicked on StreamYard, and I went gone.
Oh, okay.
That was weird.
All right. Let's do Nerdist because Paigey doesn't like Joe Blow, so let's give a view to Nerdist.
Over there adding 30 seconds to the end of their trailer.
All right. So this is the Beetlejuice trailer, the newest one from like 15 hours ago. Now, tomorrow there is a trailer, supposedly a trailer for Superman and Lois, right? 3Dub? Is that what you said? So we'll get that tomorrow.
Like what? 13, 14 hours from now or something?
I'll probably do a video on that for Saturday, but we will not be live on Saturday. I won't be back live on Saturdays until August. So I'll be live maybe Sunday, but definitely not Saturday. So yeah. So I'll do a video on that probably for Saturday. All right, here we go. I think she's going to be typecast as like the spooky girl.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, yeah.
What, she's the new Christina Ricci, where everyone just...
I think so. I think that's what's happening, yeah.
Except
I mean,
older.
I would like to see her in more stuff, but I feel like that's the direction we're going with this.
But maybe she likes being the creepy girl.
Maybe, but you know,
that's fine. That's fine, but that is going to be what she's going to be known as.
Yeah,
which is fine.
Having a massive resurgence right now. You know what I mean? Like everybody seems to love him. He's been in a few things now, except for obviously that movie that didn't do well at the box office recently,
and Batgirl that never actually aired.
yeah, but you know, talked about how he doesn't look that different from the original movie.
Which is ideal.
The 1988 film. God, it's been set that long. Let's see. Hold on. Trying to find a good picture of him. Which is it? Let me see. Beetlejuice side by side. Do they have a picture of it? No, of course they don't. Let's finish the trailer.
I'm surprised there's no then and now.
You're surprised what?
There's no then and now.
Yeah.
For Beetlejuice.
There's a lot of memes of like people that look like Beetlejuice. I guess have been posted over the years. Let's see. There's a super low res one. Jesus, how low res can it be? Let's over on Instagram. Okay, yeah, we'll.
Hey, there's one on Facebook.
Yeah, I found one. I'll share it here in a second. All right, open image, a new tab, and holy shit, it's actually all right. I'm not gonna say too much here, but we'll look at it in a second. Wow. All right, let's finish the trailer. I'm still interested in it. I'm gonna go see that. Obviously, I love the original. So, any thoughts on it?
Of course, he's there running the place. Of course, he gets trapped down there, and he's goddamn running the place. That's amazing. Oh my god, I'm so here for it.
I think it looks really good. I'm not quite as excited as I am for Alien Romulus, but you know,
different vibes though. Different vibes.
Yeah. So here they are. Look at this. This is crazy. That's 88 in 2024. I mean, I know it's makeup and shit, but wow, like, there we go.
I'm just interested to see like how they do like in the actual movie, like the different things that are going on. Because obviously in the 80s when they did a lot of stop motion.
Yeah.
So like what do they go to in like throughout the entirety of the sequel? Did you ever watch Pee Wee Herman and stuff, Eric?
Like years ago, yeah.
Oh,
We're recreating Cherry in the house. Like we bought a chair that looks just like it. We're going to recover it and make it look like Cherry, like a real chair. So
I sent you something.
oh yeah, I see. Well, let's pull this up first.
what? Like you're legitimately going to make the chair?
Yeah, the chair from Pee Wee's Playhouse. Yeah.
What? Does it talk?
I mean, it's not going to talk. It's not a real chair.
What? I mean,
No.
like, does it like open its mouth and stuff like that?
I mean, you will be able to. Yes, we're going to recreate it so you can do things with it. So yeah, it's going to have the tongue and everything.
Of course, you'd include the tongue.
Did you see the phrase? Like, I heard about this, but apparently it was just like a conversation, like a chat room or something. I don't think anything big has come out of it yet that I've seen. So
Do you have Mr. T cereal?
no, I don't have that. So
That would make it authentic, Eric.
there is the Superman and Lois final season poster.
And tomorrow is the little teaser.
I am surprised they're releasing a trailer. I do wonder if it's just like a short one and there's a longer one at Comic-Con.
And we got the date, October 17th.
Yeah.
Well, that was already out.
Oh, I don't remember.
That was like, I think, what, 3 weeks ago?
That was news for me. Basically, it was fall. That's the last thing I remember.
Yeah, I'm
We have
surprised they're doing. I'm hoping it's just like maybe it's because it's shorter, and then maybe there's a longer one at Comic Con. But then again, Comic Con's next week, so like a week from when they would release a trailer. So maybe they just go, yeah, we'll just re-show it there, I guess.
In one room in our house, we have a giant paintbrush coming out of the wall with paint on it, like a giant, like it's
Like
coming out of the wall.
Actual paint or just like stylized paint?
No, I mean it's like, well, I mean it's not wet dripping paint, but it was paint.
But it
on
is
the
paint
wall.
dried.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you live in just like fucking play school or something? Like, what's going on? Like,
Something like that.
do you actually live in Pee Wee Herman's house? Like, do you have that?
No, but I mean I could essentially. We're working towards it.
I just realized Pee Wee Herman's next door neighbor is Francis, like the ladybug.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
you're
yeah,
right.
that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Funny how we made a full circle back to Bug Life. The circle of life.
What are you Googling, Eric? What are you looking up on your phone?
I'm not.
Uh-oh. You got to show us the paintbrush.
Yeah, we're gonna walk around the house. That's what we're gonna do. So
That's not a very good angle for you. It's not very flattering, Eric. I'm not going to lie. We about to get scrotum cam, or are you going to hold the camera up?
no,
Last time was not very pleasant viewing for everyone.
there we go. So you should be able to hear me.
Unfortunately,
Let's take a walk.
Okay, I'm going to take this opportunity to bounce before you do, because it's very.
You heading out?
Yes, I'm going to say thanks for having me. And I'll see you all later.
Bye.
Yeah, I was gonna say goodbye on that one, but I didn't have a chance. I can't hear you guys on this one.
Hello.
It's not working.
Hello.
No, I mean like I can hear you here, but not here. Not
Stand
here.
up.
Let me do something.
Are you muted? Oh, well, no, you're obviously not muted.
No.
Is your sound going through the...
What?
Okay, I can see. I see your thing moving, or I don't know.
So it's weird. I am on both of these with one account.
Yes,
I didn't think that was possible.
I do it all the time on Party Nation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I like my phone where I don't have to do any computer things, but when I have to like start the stream, I use my computer, but then I switch to my phone.
All right, hold on. For a second.
Penis. Ooh.
Everyone's just here, just watching you like mess with your phone.
It's funny. I'm trying to figure out a way to do it so I can show the other camera because I want to do the front camera.
Yeah, that's the hold
I
on,
don't
let
think
me
it's possible though.
I can do it real quick.
So
I can figure it out.
yeah, hold on 1 second. I will be right back.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump, yeah. Actually, I might say I'm doing it. Oh shit, he's back. Shit. Can't hear.
What were you saying?
Nothing. 3 was constantly kept saying Trump or something, but yeah.
Oh my god.
Give me a second. It's gonna be
What the fuck?
We're getting echoes.
yeah, hold on.
Let's see. This might be quite an interesting situation here.
Or is everyone just watching Test Time with Eric? Test
Yeah,
2.
this is fun. We're already beyond the 2 hour mark, so we're moving right along. Let's see, Enter Studio. 3Dub can't figure it out.
You can,
Oh my god.
give me a second. There we go. Okay, so go to camera.
Already got it.
Okay, there we go. Feedback sucks.
All right. Let's see.
There you
There we
go.
go.
There's a computer. Yes, it is.
So, all right. Can you hear me on this one?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Huh?
Unfortunately, is what Paigey said.
I didn't say anything.
Of course you did.
Yeah, the Minecraft, like there's like an art book or something from it. Like 2 pages from it got leaked. Can't hear you, mate. Talking to yourself.
All right. We're going to make this work. I swear.
Feedback. Feedback.
Can you park in a car? Hold on.
Ah.
I had this one muted.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know
that
how-
one.
Yeah, but it's picking up on your phone. Like if you're close with the proximity to other devices, it feedbacks. So the feedback is coming from your phone.
Yeah, but I mean, I had it muted.
Yeah, apparently it doesn't matter.
Okay, well, let me walk this way, and I'll try it out.
Walk this
Hold on.
way. Oh, I can't change my thing. You'll see on his StreamYard.
All right, am I still echoing?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Cat. If you move it sideways, we get a fuller picture. Just letting you know.
Eric turned the camera off while he passes the room of chaps, just in case.
No, I was trying to.
Where's the chair?
Does that work? There's my door to the house.
That's nice. Spidey.
So
Is it felt?
no, it's just.
You should make it get like fur or something on it.
Is that the Grinch?
No, it's just a Matador painted green. Here's a French fry pillow.
Nothing sus.
Unless it's a French fry pillow. Why would it be sus? It's a French fry pillow.
Does it have salt on it?
It could, possibly. So here is a optical illusion in our house. That's the hallway.
Is that the one you fell over?
And if you get closer, you'll see that it's 2 walls.
Wow. That is
But
trippy.
it's,
It seems like the setup for a psychological thriller. I'm trapped in this house.
Wow, you have one of those old games.
yeah, Street Fighter. The Street Fighter 2.
Is that what you play
And,
Dark Side Phil?
And here's our table. It's actually a giant can.
Wow. Is that your Dungeons and Dragons table?
It's one of them. We have 2 different ones, but this is one of them, yeah. It's a Phoenix painting on the wall, dollhouse here, and hold on, let me see if I can switch the aspect ratio. Is there a way to do that, 3Dub, like to make it narrower?
Yeah, switch your camera up.
Hold on. Oh, let me. I'll show you the thing here. So there's the paintbrush on the wall. It's a giant paintbrush.
Oh, okay. I thought it was sticking out like the other way, like where the handle was in the wall. Oh, I know what you mean now. God, watch out for your eye. I think when a ball comes over, they're going to knock down.
Okay, let's see. I can't change the aspect ratio. That sucks. Anyway.
You're in your fucking hands.
You know, it is what it is. My fur jacket.
YouTube pays well. I mean, DJing pays well.
Anyway, let's head back in the other room. Now that I figure out how to do that. I can also show you my glasses stand. Alexa, turn on wardrobe.
South Texas, that's why he's not going outside. He doesn't want to flex the Bentley and the Rolls Royce. He's got and the car.
Everybody asks how many pairs of glasses I have.
That's actually
Hey.
it's actually a lot less than I thought, Eric. So. How many of them have lenses?
Oh, those all have lenses. Those are real glasses.
Oh, okay.
Wow. And you have like a wall of hats.
Yeah, over here.
Ooh, I like the Deadpool one.
OG Green Arrow.
So are you going to wear the Deadpool one and the Wolverine one? Do you have a Wolverine one?
I don't think so. I also have this Green Arrow right there. It's kind of cool.
Nice.
Super Saiyan. All right, hold on. My cat's scratching at the door.
Cat scratch.
Alexa, turn off wardrobe.
How old is
The
that
other
guy?
side of the room. 2 years old.
Look young.
Let me mute. The house tour.
Once in a lifetime, people.
All right, there we go. Should be echoing now. I backed out of the studio.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you could put multiple windows into StreamYard from the same account.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's pretty crazy. So
If
that
you
was the
have-
giant paintbrush, and under that was the chair that's going to be cherry, but it's kind of ripped apart right now, so it's not attractive. But that's the one we're going to turn into cherry.
And
Right
if you have like 3 computers, you can basically have 3 different ways to share something from the same account.
That's interesting. Look, South Texas Shark, Pagey, he says flexing all over the house.
Oh, never ending. See, never ending flex.
He's showing us how much money he makes compared to us.
Not from YouTube, that's for sure.
I meant DJing.
Yeah, YouTube has been really stingy on the CPMs recently. So
Patreon is where you get your money back.
I know we talked about that a little bit. I don't even know how to begin to do Patreon again to go back over and get started with that.
Do you like?
Is fuel fucked over there?
Is what?
Fuel.
It's
It's expensive.
It's $3 here. I don't know if that's outrageous for you.
We do it differently because you're the only country for some reason that decided to do gallons.
What's your currency?
Australian.
Okay.
No, they do it by like liters and not by gallons. So
the funniest things I always see online is when it's like an American going, it's 98 degrees. It's 98 degrees. Then the comment section is the top comment is always, for the rest of the world, that's this. It's because America's the only one that decides to do Fahrenheit.
It's $4.48 Australian.
Per gallon. But what's a gallon to a liter?
A gallon to a liter.
Well, the thing is that I didn't even show you the bigger room. The room with the paintbrush in it is the biggest room in the house, and that room is kind of in.
Okay. 3 liter, basically 4 liters if you round up.
And you're paying $3 a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That'd be 8 Australian a gallon.
It's what's funny is it's $2 for a liter of soda.
Stranger, thank you. I appreciate it. The room, the bigger room, the one with the paintbrush in it or whatever, is in disarray right now because we're in the process of remodeling it. So one half of it is just kind of like carpets ripped up and stuff like that. So it's not very exciting yet, but we're working on that one. And,
what's going on in that room? Sex dungeon.
Yeah, definitely not that. We're debating on how we want to do it. Right now, the TV
Do you have a
is
basement?
No.
Okay.
Do you have an attic?
Yes.
Is it worked on like your house?
Not yet. We haven't really decided what we're going to do with it. The rest of it, we're doing like one room at a time. So the big room that you guys saw in is like our dining room and entertainment room, which we have guests over and stuff like that. So we play all of our games in that room. We watch TV in that room, play like PlayStation, all of that in there. And then the other big room that we have is the lounging room, which is where we have like all of our arts and crafts and stuff like that. So we separated that. The arts and craft room is in another room now. So that room is being freed up to renovate. So we're not really sure what we're going to do with it at the moment. We're just kind of slowly putting it all together.
Mac Lead asked y'all talk about the boys finale.
Yeah, the first hour of this stream is pretty much all boys.
All boys.
Yeah, the first hour. We shouldn't have anything getting removed from that. The first 2 hours almost shouldn't have anything getting removed. We didn't start looking at trailers until like about 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, basically at the 2 hour mark.
Yeah.
So does your like soft drink go by liters over there?
No. Well, you can, but there's also you can also do it other ways.
We go by.
You need to sort yourselves out. What's doing?
We go by ounces though.
If it's liquid.
Yeah.
Let me get 2 ounces.
There are like 2 liters and 1.5 liters that are sold, but that's not all the way. That's not the only way that they sell drinks. So we have cans and bottles.
It basically have like 3 different versions of the same amount. Like it would be like the liter, the pound, and then the ounce.
Yeah. So Jordan says, have you gotten your Deadpool and Wolverine tickets yet? Yes, I will be streaming the night after I see it. I'll be seeing it 3 p.m. on release day. And I will be doing a non-spoilery video later that that night, like a live stream,
The
and then I will talk spoilers at the end of that live stream. So
the 25th or
yeah.
okay, cool, because that's when I'm seeing mine, and the 3 o'clock. So same
Yeah, I'm
time.
doing 3 o'clock as well. So
Are you going to Regals?
no. We have a local theater right near us.
Oh, I thought it was Regals.
Hey guys. My big cat tried to jump up here and didn't see the little cat and like jumped on top of her. Hey guys. Come here. Come here.
Eric, I saw your undies. Yeah.
Through the black shorts that I have on.
G-string, yeah. The G-banger.
Let's see. Did you see the series Shogun got 25 Emmy nominations, including a Best Lead Actor in Drama Series? Yeah. So, I enjoy that series. I don't know how. I think they're trying to push for a season 2, but I don't know how they're going to do a season 2 for that.
It's on my. That's the one I'm watching. I have to watch before Andor's Shogun.
Avatar: The Last Airbender got some nominations too.
Really?
Yep.
The live action one?
Yep.
Over One Piece?
Yep. Apparently.
I feel like One Piece was a better show than Avatar, but that's just my opinion.
Yes, but I still like some of what Avatar did.
We'll see. Anyway, I think we're going to get out of here. Thanks everybody for hanging out. We were coming up on the 3-hour mark. I just decided to go a little bit longer tonight, which is why I started a little bit earlier, because I knew that both topics would take up like
Let's
a lot
go
of time.
Snyder cut. Snyder cut.
But I'll be on tomorrow with, is it your channel or Lance's channel?
Lance's channel, but I have control over it. So
Okay.
we're
We're going to be doing the Superman and Lois trailer over there.
live
And
reaction.
and then I will do my trailer video separately to get uploaded probably Saturday, most likely, because tomorrow I'll leave this up for everybody to watch. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Everybody have a safe weekend. And if you missed anything on this, first hour is The Boys, second hour is Acolyte, and then the rest of it is just random stuff. So
Yep.
anyway, see everyone later. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.